lost control and I can shake the feeling on my own. 'Cause I thought you were the light that was breaking through my eyes, but I miss what you had inside, that feels you can't deny. 'Cause I thought you were the light, 'cause I thought you were the light that was breaking through my eyes, 'cause I thought you were the light. Falling fast, now my mind is freezing, but I can show that I can go ahead without you in my feelings. No, 'cause I thought you were the light that was breaking through my eyes, but I miss what you had inside, that feels you can't deny. 'Cause I thought you were the light, 'cause I thought you were the light that was breaking through my eyes, 'cause I thought you were the light.
You pull me in like gravity, you do, changing the way that my body moves, it's true. Without the moon there'd be no wave, without the stars there'd be no space. When I got you by my side, you made me feel like the world in your mood. I can't go on without being with you, inseparable. All of the stars in the night sky shine bright, but I only got my eyes on you, because we got something more to give. We got something more within. Let it out and show the world tonight. Without the moon there'd be no wave, without the stars there'd be no space. When I got you by my side, you made me feel like the world in your mood.
your sky, your world has been dark. Stripped of your love, you've never been colder. You're losing sight of who you are. But there's still hope waiting on the horizon. You haven't lost yourself, lost yourself. Ghost spark the fire inside you. You haven't lost yourself, lost yourself. Go spark the fire. Stripped of your love, you haven't lost yourself, lost yourself. No. Hard to believe that anything's worth it. Ain't selling your soul, you give it away. No way to hide your heart is hurting. Fragile at best, you're ready to break. But there's still hope waiting on the horizon. You haven't lost yourself, lost yourself. Ghost spark the fire inside you. You haven't lost yourself, lost yourself. But there's still hope waiting on the horizon. You haven't lost yourself, lost yourself. Ghost spark the fire inside you. You haven't lost yourself, lost yourself. Go spark the fire. Just waiting inside you. You haven't lost yourself, lost yourself.
So I'ma light it up just like a cigarette smoke till it's in my head, take it all away. Yeah, I'ma light it up just like a cigarette smoke till it's in my head, take the pain away. Let it burn, let it burn, let it burn. the calm before the storm. Things aren't as they were before. You best start bracing. Did you think you could keep us out? Shut the gates, forget us now. Tides are changing. Can you hear the sound? Can't stop us now. We're not back in town, know what we're doing. Things are about to change, it's evolution. Voices shake the ground, you feel it moving. We're the revolution. Can you hear the sound? Ground beneath your feet, with a whisper in the trees. Do you feel us watching? Hunger in our eyes, victories on our minds. It's our time to rise. Can you hear the sound? Can't stop us now. We're not back in town, know what we're doing. Things are about to change, it's evolution. Voices shake the ground, you feel it moving. We're the revolution. Can you hear the sound? We're not back in town, know what we're doing. Things are about to change, it's evolution. Voices shake the ground, you feel it moving. We're the revolution.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Race 2 of Bez Racing Team Season 3 at Spa-Francorchamps. I am your host, Reagan Letkeman. With me eventually, experiencing some technical difficulties at the time, not Stephen Wallace today. He is out, he is on vacation, so today, hopefully, once we've got these technical difficulties sorted out, we will have Victor joining us in the commentary booth today. Very excited to have him on board for this race. And let's hope that we can get him going soon. Currently, just 14 minutes left in free practice. Oh, that might be a Victor. Victor, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hello, guys.
Fantastic. Yes, Victor, very happy to have you here. It looks like we've just got the drivers in the racing briefing right now, so not too much on-track action to talk about. Victor, how are you today? How are you doing?
I am fine and great. I have a great friend by my side. And I am happy, double happy because it's Spa. Every race at Spa is good. How can it be sad?
Spa is a fantastic track. We'll hopefully get some really exciting action here today. Now, let's talk about the drivers a little bit. Victor, you as one of our experienced Lamborghini drivers, I'm sure you're excited to know current leader of our championship is Brenham, Oyston Brenham, driving the Lamborghini. Got a quiet but confident victory at Laguna Seca last week after a couple blunders from our favorites in Tyler Babin and Marcus Murray. As I said, you have a lot of experience in the Lamborghini. How is that car to drive, especially on a track like Laguna and the track that we're seeing today, Spa?
Oh. No, but for you, it's a good car. The problem is the car sometimes feels sluggish because it's the heaviest car on the game because of the BOP. But have a good top speed and arguably the best electronic of the game. So I think it's a good call to say the Lamborghini is a top three at the Spa.
Wow, and certainly not a lot of drivers in that car as we just bring up our manufacturers here. We do have, I believe it is just the one Lamborghini on the grid. Currently 21 drivers on the server. Hopefully we'll see a couple more joined before practice starts, or before qualifying starts in just about 12 minutes. And up and down the grid, a good mix of vehicles outside of that. Lots of Porsches. We saw lots of Porsches last year, and that's carrying over. Quite a few drivers switching into the McLaren as well. Paul Krobs switching from the Ferrari into the McLaren. Are there any cars or any drivers you're thinking might be exciting to watch for this race?
I think the McLaren and the Porsche have one problem. It's easier to overtake at the end of sector 2, 3 and 1. And the Porsche doesn't have the top end. So if one of the Porsche drivers is able to qualify on the top, could be a good race because on the sector 2 they just go fly away.
Certainly, yes. Lots of time for the Porsches to lose in Sector 1, but a lot more to gain in Sector 2 and 3. Looking at the timing boards here, we have a new face, Ruffo, rookie in the Bez Racing season this year. Currently on the top of the timing boards with a 218.797, a fantastic time from him. With Poe in the Aston Martin at a 219 flat, not far behind. Sparks, so that's three rookies to the Bez Racing team currently in the top three spots. Sparks with a 219.1. Expected one of our expected favorites, Marcus Murray, with a 219.1 right behind him, and then a bit of a gap up to Oyston Brenham in fifth. So we've got some very fast guys out there today. With the guys in the pits, obviously not too much exciting to show you on track. So why don't we talk about our standings, our results from last race. So we have, as mentioned, Oyston Brenham currently leading the championships with 25 points, first place overall. Marcus Murray, Marcus was a driver who came out to a fantastic start at Laguna Seca, able to jump Tyler Babin, who started on pole and unfortunately got a drive-through at the start. Marcus looking like he was going to run away with the race until a couple unfortunate spins sent him into second place. He had managed such a gap that even with two large off tracks, he was able to manage second place. So obviously a bit disappointing for him, but not something he'll be too sad about, given a second place is not too bad at all. Finally, we do have some on-track action starting. Joe Hansen getting out there. Briefing, Steven, briefing is I'm imagining is just finished, as we now have cars leaving the pits for the last 10 minutes of practice. But yes, the briefing was just happening, which is why we had all of our drivers in the pits, off track, listening to the stewards, figuring out what the heck they're supposed to be doing on the roads. As well, a couple other names to be paying attention to. Nate Byrne finishing in fourth place overall last race. Nate, our first silver driver in the standings, obviously leading those silver standings right now, so a fantastic drive for him. Ivan Watson as well, starting pretty far back after a poor qualifying and rushing all the way to fifth place. Tyler Babin, as mentioned, started at the front, got a drive-through, had a couple incidents during the race as well, but still managed his way up to sixth place. And as well, one last shout out to Ben Fiore, who finished the race down outside of the overall points, but at the lead of the AM Championships. Leo Osman with a fantastic qualifying in Laguna Seca. He outqualified many of the silver drivers and even a couple of the pro drivers, starting right up in the front half of the grid. A couple unfortunate incidents with him as well pushed him back into second place in the AM standings. He's currently in 18th. So it'll be really interesting to see what he is able to do in qualifying today, and to see if maybe with a bit of a cleaner race, he'll be able to maybe put together a better result than what he had at Laguna Seca. Victor, Spa-Francorchamps, very difficult track. What are your thoughts on this track? What are some of the places, or what are some of the things you think our drivers should be paying attention to during this race to keep themselves in a good position?
I am watching the Johansson now driving the Mercedes. I don't know if everyone knows, but Mercedes have some problem here because it's terrible to set up the car to this turn, the route, because it's so easy to car just lose it and kill himself. For God knows the reason. No one knows why the car is so terrible to set up, but it could happen. Wait, only me heard that?
No, we are hearing you very clearly. We've got some very excited fans in the chat. Yes.
Oh,
Steven.
it's the shot. Oh, hello. Hello,
Wallace,
Steven.
our previous,
Hey, Victor.
our normal co-commentator. Is that a Steven in the chat? Even.
Hello, boys.
Hello, Steven. How are you doing today? Am I wrong? Maybe I thought I heard a Steven.
No, any Steven. I saw that hell in there.
Huh. Interesting. Well, maybe I'm going crazy. Yes, Flexa, that is a Victor you hear.
Hello for Bahama. Oh, no, wait. Oh, that's fancy. It's sun out there.
Here's the one thing. I'm not sure if the game audio's come through. So if anyone could let me know how the game audio is, hopefully that's something we can hear here soon. I'm hearing it now, so there we go. Hopefully, you in the chat, if you could let me know how the audio is sounding, if we've got the right mix, and that can be changed as needed. But yes, Stephen Wallace off in the Bahamas, enjoying himself. Hopefully hopefully had a safe flight. If you're here, I'm sure you did. So he will be back in the commentary booth for our next race. But right now, of course, we have the wonderful Victor taking his place, taking the reins of the Bez Racing Team stream today.
Hey, Wallace, no stray voice. We are professional here. Only professionals working. I not wake up like 50 minutes ago to do this. No, not at all.
No, we only practice the absolute professionalism in this stream. Of course, our many sponsors would be absolutely furious if we didn't take it as seriously as we do. So, very important that we keep it PG, keep it fun for the kids. All of the kids watching here. Hi to all of the kids. All the
Hi, kids. Okay,
I don't know. If anyone has a mother or a father, a niece, they want us to shout out who's hiding in the chat, let me know. I can say hello to them, let them know how great their son is doing in this race. But yes, going back to what we were talking about with the Mercedes. Mercedes is sort of an interesting car after some recent changes. It's a car that, from what we saw at Paul Ricard, it's a car with a lot of cornering speed right now. Very good in the corners, but not a great car in a straight line. So I'm imagining it's going to be a difficult race for Johansson and our other Mercedes drivers, who are going to be absolutely preyed upon on the Kemmel Straight. But as you mentioned, need to make some serious setup changes and hope and pray that they don't screw up Eau Rouge and Radion the entire race, keeping themselves on track. It's definitely an interesting one and a difficult one for the Mercedes drivers. Porsche drivers as well, who need to make sure that they are pushing as hard as possible in Sector 2 and 3 to keep their times down while they lose tenths and tenths on the Kemmel Straight to some of the faster cars in a straight line, the Hondas, the Aston Martins, the Ferraris, cars that don't really, they're not as fast in the corners, but they might be gaining up to 10 kilometers an hour on the Kemmel Straight. Easy passes available for those cars if the situation comes.
One thing I noticed, only 2 beamers.
Yes, it's we've got quite a diverse range of cars, and it's nice to see that we don't necessarily have one manufacturer dominating. As you mentioned, only 2 Beamers at one point considered the absolute overpowered car in the game. Some balancing changes may have adjusted that, but yes, lots of different manufacturers. We've got, I mean, just looking at the top 7, top 8, we have 8 different manufacturers right now. Which is always nice to see. Having one of the best parts of this game is seeing these different cars with slightly different driving styles, slightly different strengths and weaknesses, all fighting together near the top, trying to use the benefits of their cars and taking advantage of the weaknesses of their opponents in order to try to move themselves up the grid. So just 2 minutes left in practice before we run over to qualifying. Victor, one driver we should point out today is Hamling. Hamling, a driver, did not make the Laguna Seca race. We can see him in the Audi right now. Didn't make it to the Laguna Seca race, so currently no points in the standings. The one race that he did make was the first practice race of the season, where he absolutely dominated at the Nürburgring. He was, if I remember correctly, almost 30 seconds ahead of second place by the end of that race. Just a very, very incredibly strong showing from him. It'll be very interesting to see if he's able to show that kind of strength on this track, and maybe make his way back into the top of the standings. So we see Dan Schneider, one of our newcomers. Decent race for him last week, if I remember correctly. Just taking the Kemmel Straight. Lots of drivers just getting in their last practice times. And Victor, what are you expecting to see from our qualifying today? And a reminder to all of our viewers, anyone who may not know, qualifying session works in a 30-minute. It's a 30-minute qualifier. First 10 minutes are for the amateurs. Second 10 minutes are for the silvers, and finally the final 10 minutes are for the pros. Victor, what do you hope to see during our next 30 minutes?
I had a question because I can't see no one standing alone right now, but I really think the top 3 is gonna be between the Ferrari, Audi, or the Lamborghini. I hope Murray could be fast because it's fun to see the Honda running at Spa, but the problem with the Honda, it is the Honda. You can't expect so much of the Honda. That's the biggest issue.
Well, the Honda, very scary drive up, or car up Eau Rouge and Raidillon, and even into Blanchemont, certainly in the wet and a little bit in the dry. It's a car that's an absolute handful. I myself drive the Honda, love how much it tries to kill me. But it is certainly a car that no matter how well you're doing in the race, you never know when the car decides that it would prefer to be in the wall than on track, and we'll have to see how Murray handles that through an hour 15. Also, very bad car on tire wear. So in this race, of course, we can expect to see most of the drivers doing tire changes in the hour 15-minute format. But even with that 35 to 40 minutes they'll be doing, we'll just have to hope for Murray's sake that he's able to keep it on track and doesn't lose too much of the tires. I've also been told in the chat this quali will be all at once, so I was not aware of that, and we got Kenji Tan off of the track. Let's see if we can maybe get a replay of what happened to him, have a little bit of fun at the end of practice. But yes, so I guess we're seeing an experimentation of the quali format. It's going to be all 30 drivers, or sorry, all 20, what do we have here? 26 drivers out there for the entire 30 minutes. And as we switch over, this is an instant replay here. We'll see what possibly happened to Kenji. It looks like maybe just not the lap he was expecting, and he went off track and finished up his practice session. I'm guessing that's what we might be seeing here. Goes into bus stop. Nice and smooth. Nothing happens to him. Nothing interesting to show at the end of practice. Just waiting.
One
Oh,
thing good to know. Sorry, Wigan. One P1 to P10 only almost 1 second or apart. I mean, everyone really close.
it's very close as we've got another driver down into the 218s. Oysten Brenham, again the winner of the last race at Laguna Seca.
Whoa, it's
And
red.
oh, this is interesting. Yes, we've got a raining. We've got rain on the track. This is something I
No,
know.
it's a visual bug.
It's a visual bug. Wow. Well, sorry to
No,
all of
it's
our
right.
viewers.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. Professionals working. Move along. Move along.
We will have to see eventually what is going on here. It does look like water. So Victor, this is true. It is currently raining. There is rain on
No, I
track.
think it's only wet, but it's
It's
not
wet,
raining.
wet but not raining.
Yes.
Even more interesting.
Oh, this
not
is
sure
terrible.
why that
This
is
is the
happening.
worst. Okay, remember everything I told about the qualify. Forget about it.
Yes.
Now I bet on the Porsche on the front because Porsche is a hell of good car in the rain.
Porsche is a fantastic car. The Aston Martin as well, another car that is fantastic in the rain. It's going to be very interesting to see how these drivers handle the wet conditions. This is not entirely unexpected. Rain was definitely an option for this race. May not be a full wet race. We might bounce back and forth. We'll have to see. But one thing's for sure, we are going to see a lot of drivers like possibly Paul R. Let's see if we go back, and yes, in fact, that is a crash on the outlap for Paul Runo. Porsche, quite a handful. Very good in the wet, but still a Porsche. So have to
Puddle,
see
the
what happens to
hidden
him.
puddle that kills everyone.
Yes, couple infamous puddles on this track. You're right. One on the Kemmel Straight, right at the elbow, the right kink. So that'll be one that drivers are probably all well aware of, and one that they'll all need to watch out for. And then finally, one coming off the back of Puhan, going into Piff Paff. Not the official term for the turns. I will let you know. The official term is the campus corners 13 and 14. But that name's boring, so we'll be calling it Piff Paff. Puddle right before the braking zone there. As Hamling is actually just coming up to that. We'll see how he does, how he handles it. I am wrong. He's at a completely different part of the track. Don't mind me. He's about to start.
Just watch.
Just watch the
And
race. Exactly.
let's see Henning opening the track, opening the lap.
Yes, Hamling starting his outlap again, as mentioned, a driver that we are expecting to see near the front of the grid. We've got Kangwa in 17th. He's gone off. 17th doesn't mean much yet, as no driver's actually set a lap. Technically, a 6:15 from Hamling. Not going to be setting the timing boards on fire there. But we'll have to imagine he'll be a little bit faster on this one. If not, he might be breaching that 107% rule that we all hold very near and dear. Starting his lap, and we've got, I'm not sure who that is, just passing on the track, but getting out of the way, making sure to stay off the line, allowing Hamling to do his lap. Coming down into Lacombe's, a tough braking zone, staying off the curbs in the wet, but catching the inside of Lacombe's, catching the curb as well here on the quick right, left, right. Looks very smooth, very in control from Hamling right now. This is looking like it could be the start of a very solid banker lap. Staying nice and close to that apex all the way through Bruxelles. Going into No Name. Still very smooth, very in control. Looks like a driver who's done this many times before. Again, still waiting for drivers to be setting their first laps. Hamling one of the first out of the pits, I believe. So still just sort of waiting and seeing if any of our drivers are on good laps. See if the leaderboards are showing anyone. Hamling currently purple in Sector 3. That doesn't tell us much at all. No timing boards for the first sectors yet. So we'll just have to hope that our drivers are able to set some decent times here. Prevot going off track, most likely on their outlap, or possibly a fast lap, so too bad for them. In these wet conditions, we're going to be seeing a lot of drivers going off. McAvey now showing yellow, not sure if that's a crash, as that was just after a 7-minute 30 lap, just after the outlap. Might have been a bit of a mistake into turn 1 La Source. Never going to know for sure. So luckily for him, we don't have a replay to show. Always fun to show our drivers spinning in the wet. Us as commentators get to have a little bit of fun. They might not have as much fun.
Man, it's yellow flag almost everywhere.
Yes, drivers most likely getting used to the conditions. As you mentioned, a lot of yellow flags. And there we go. Our first time on the board. That is a 2-minute 30 from Hamling. Going around onto another lap. Let's see. Marcus currently going through. We've got a 2:31 from Johansson, so a couple drivers actually starting to set times. Big jump between Hamling and Johansson, but again, with banker laps, you never know what drivers are doing, whether they're staying safe just to get a time on the board. Murray coming around into the bus stop chicane. Looks very neat and tidy. Keeping the car on track off the curbs. Drivers absolutely getting through the line now. That is a 131.007, and yes, unmentioned, but Carl Nordell with a 230.055, so very good for him. Looking at the timing board, so we do have a Sector 1 best out of Carl Nordell, that's a 43.942. Hamling with the best time in Sector 3, quite a large gap, that is a 39.297, almost 5/10 faster than the next fastest. And as I say that, Oyston Brenham jumps into first place with a very nice time, 228.732. That is a fastest Sector 1 and Sector 3. Sector 2, unfortunately, as it is over a minute long, we're not getting data on that sector, but hopefully we can all imagine it was pretty fast.
Track is drying up. I think some people will go to the pits and bet the dry.
Very well, may be correct. Let's see, take a second here to see what happened to Daniel Cheng, sorry. Daniel Cheng with a little bit of a crash, it looks like. Jump it over to the instant replay. Gets up on the curb. Even as the track is drying up, that's not an area that we expect drivers to want to be touching the curbs. Very high-speed braking zone, and not a great situation for him. McAvey going yellow, but it doesn't look like anything happening there. No, still yellow. Oh, that's not what we like to see.
That's not the way?
Back. No, that is not the way. Unfortunately, replay didn't jump back far enough. So we missed the incident there, but hopefully we've got plenty of cars going off all over the place. We've got Daniel Cheng, probably touching that puddle on the straight. We've got Ruffo. Ruffo, what are you doing? It just looks like finishing up his lap. So nothing too interesting there. Neat and tidy from him finishing up his lap, and he is currently in P4. That is a 230.087, as Marcus Murray actually beats him now at a 220.847. So time's definitely starting to come down into the 227s, almost 3 seconds faster than what we saw right at the start. More and more drivers starting to set times, but that being said, still fewer than half have actually been able to set a valid lap. So conditions clearly still a little bit treacherous out there.
Nordell P1 again.
Nordell with a 227.38, a very nice lap for him. Hamling not far behind, only a couple tenths. Less than a tenth, actually. Drivers all starting to get used to the conditions. Our fastest drivers are really showing their stuff here. We could be in line for a very close finish. And let's take a look at our personal best deltas. Most drivers at the front not putting up much of a delta right now. And why don't we swap those around, give our viewers a better better viewing experience here.
Something fancy going right now because Sector 2 is not dry already. So everyone is like losing a huge amount of time on Sector 2, but gaining on Sector 1 and 3.
It's very interesting you say that, because yes, going over to the leaderboard and our timing boards here, we do have a couple drivers fast enough to show times in Sector 2. Carl Nordell, currently fastest in Sector 2 with a 1 minute 5 second and 95 milliseconds. Up by 4/10, or 3/10 I should say, on Oysten Brenham. Still fastest in Sector 2. Hamling fastest in Sector 1 by just a tenth on Carl Nordell, and fastest by a couple tenths in Sector 3. But Nordell just dominant in Sector 2, which is putting him up into the top position for now. Lots of drivers not far behind. As you mentioned, we've got between Nordell, Hamling, and Brenham only less than 2/10. That's a tenth and a half between them, which is very exciting stuff for us. 30 minutes, quite a long qualifying session for all of these drivers, so plenty of time for them to set the fastest times they can, which means I expect we'll be seeing most of our drivers getting very close to their best possibles, as we see Johansson with a poor turn 1 last time around. He's already coming up on 2 seconds faster than his previous lap, so we'll stay on board with him, see if he's able to figure something out and get himself farther up into the timetables. Still, 10 minutes into qualifying, less than half of our drivers have set a valid lap, so clearly lots of drivers still figuring out these drying conditions. Not sure if anyone has switched onto slick tires. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Not sure if we'll be able to see exactly when the switch happens, but certainly something to keep an eye out for. We've got,
I have a question, Regan. Why almost everyone have one invalid lap? The people can't keep the car in the track. It's amazing.
It's, the conditions here, I mean, it's certainly a little more surprising now, but I'm guessing, unfortunately, and maybe Victor, you can help me out here. The track, is it greasy? Is it damp? Are you able to tell me what the conditions are?
Right now.
Is greasy, so it does make sense. Drivers trying to figure out if they want to risk it on the dry tire or play it safe and have some tomatoes on the wet tires. It's certainly a difficult decision to make. I'm guessing most drivers are starting to switch over to the dries, which just makes it even more treacherous, if not a little bit faster as well. We do see even more drying. It's probably getting very close to green as drivers are cutting more and more time off. We see Murray almost 2 seconds up or over 2 seconds up and climbing. Johansson, who we're on board with now, almost 3 seconds. He goes a little bit deep, but even going deep, it's still faster than what he... no, it's not. It's 2 or 3 tenths slower, so a little bit of a mistake from him. Going wide on the final bus stop chicane, but that does put him up into 6th place. Very nice for him. And many drivers continuing to gain spots. Too many to really keep the camera on one person, as we see Bosman also up almost 2 seconds. Marcus up 4.5 seconds. What the heck are you doing, Marcus?
Trying right now.
Now, it's at Laguna, the 2 times that we put our camera on Marcus, within about 20 seconds, he was in the wall or in the gravel. So maybe it's a bit of bad luck for us to keep it on him, but maybe we'll tempt fate a little bit and see what he does as he crosses the line, because this is looking like a fantastic lap for Murray. Brenham also up 4.5. Clearly, drivers have switched onto the dry tires, and more clearly, the dry tire is the correct tire choice right now. So let's see what Murray does coming through. I believe that is Blanchemont, or about to hit Blanchemont. Oh no! That is, well,
it's your fault.
It very well might be, as the Honda of Marcus Murray goes for a bit of a spin. Very sorry, Marcus. Not sure why that keeps happening, but he clearly is a little camera shy. Brenham coming down the line, 221.14. The track very, very clearly speeding up. Drivers all over the place are putting up faster and faster times. Though again, we still have a large number of drivers without a single valid lap. From 15th place all the way down to 26th. That's 11 drivers who have not been able to keep it on track. One thing to mention, we do have 2 drivers. The Tyler Babin with a couple incidents. His beautiful livery seen here. Very descriptive. Tyler Babin and I believe it is Paul Krobs in his beautiful orange McLaren. Ineligible for qualifying. They were a little too naughty on track, had some incidents, and will be starting at the back of the grid for their sins. Other drivers, we've got many drivers in the pits right now. Not sure if there's any penalties on them or if they're simply biding their time, figuring out what they need to do. We've got a Dan Schneider. We're going to cut back. Watch Dan Schneider going out. So we've got another driver starting from the back for next race as we go to instant replay on Dan Schneider here. What the heck happened to Dan Schneider? It looks like we may have a classic Eau Rouge mistake. Let's see, the Audi flying up, catching on Radion, catching a bump, and it is not easy once you get the car unsettled. There he goes.
Whoa, look at 10, Kenji 10. P3.
Kenji 10 with a 221.9. Kenji, one of our silver drivers, and disappointed with his race at Laguna Seca, finishing in the somewhere in the 20s, I believe. But very, very nice lap for him so far. Dan Schneider, it looks like he had some issues. Not something we'll be able to jump back to. We'll keep jumping through the drivers. Lots of drivers showing large positive deltas, or I should say negative deltas. We've got Prevot almost 5 seconds up. Nordell 6.5 seconds up.
Look at Brenham.
Where's Brenham 2 seconds up. Well, it looks like he just made a bit of a mistake. In fact, he's dropped down. Let's see where he is. Just crossing the line for a 2:19.5. Very nice lap for him, even with that mistake into the bus stop chicane. We've got Poe coming into the same chicane. He's up by quite a bit. Keeps it nice and close to the curbs there. Pretty neat and tidy through the bus stop chicane, and he is going to be rewarded with a good lap time for that. That is a 220.1.
Look at this top 3, it's spicy.
Yes, the top 3, only a couple tenths separating them. And this is still with 12 minutes to go, so these drivers are going to be pushing like hell to try to maximize their times. I wonder if we can find our deltas here. I'm not able to put it together, so you can ignore that comment. But drivers all along the track. Kenji, I'm imagining, and maybe we'll have some fun watching him take Eau Rouge. Let's see what he did on his outlap. He got the yellow flag. Maybe just slowing down to let this driver past. Looks like that is exactly what happened. Still, it looks like he just dropped a P6. So quick drop for him. Nothing too worrying. He's got plenty of time to lower his time down from a 221.9. Certainly a fast driver. He's got 220s, maybe 219s in him, depending on track conditions. So we'll have to see what happens with him and many of our other drivers. Again, we've got multiple drivers. Max Stope on 8 seconds, 9 seconds up. Jason Fauchard, very fast pro. He's already 10 seconds up on his previous lap. Clearly was not able to put anything together in the wet, but now that it is dry conditions, he has come alive. Paul Renault as well, 12 seconds up. So some of our faster drivers, as we see Jason Fauchard jump up to 5th place, expected from him. We missed Sparks putting up a 2:19 flat. Fantastic time for him. And we've got Oyston Brenham coming up bus stop chicane. He's gaining even time in bus stop. Wow. Over a second for him. That's a 2:19.5 that's about to turn into a 2:18.595. Fantastic time for Oyston Brenham. Wow, these drivers are clearly getting into a groove. The front of the grid coming alive as we've got multiple drivers in the 2:19s. More drivers to come, I am sure, as we've got Jorge Esteban on track for a 219 if he keeps it together. And why don't we go on board with him, see if that is what happens. Max Stope, that is not Jorge Esteban. This is Jorge Esteban in Sector 3, coming up on Blanchemont. Let's see if he's able to hold it together and put together another 219. We've got Hamling at the 219 or 218.8 that he just put up. Fantastic lap for him. Just a couple tenths behind Oysten Brenham. So lots of drivers really starting to push. Seems like a good line for Brenham. A little bit of the traction control cutting in, a little bit of a slide, but not enough to hurt him too bad. And that is 4th place for Jorge Esteban. 219.2. Very good lap for him. Jump over to Razvan Makave as well, up by quite a bit. Lots of drivers. Again, too many really to pay attention to. But we'll try our best here as Makave is 6/10 up. Johansson looks like he had a bit of an incident on his lap. Sparks as well. Neither of these drivers being able to keep it together on their laps. And Poe as well looks like he's gone off. It might just be a back to pits for him. Ben Fiore, he's lost time. Though he seems to be gaining, but it is invalid. Possibly through Eau Rouge if he's cutting that much time out of his lap. So lots of drivers still struggling to put together their best. We do have most of the drivers with times on the board. Just Paul Krobs, Tyler Babin, Jeremy here, and Steve Poe as the 4 drivers not currently putting up times. But again, as mentioned, at least 2 of those drivers are not able to compete. And as well, we've got a new P1. That is Marcus Murray. We didn't even realize, but he with a 2:17.840. Absolutely superb. What a lap from him as he goes invalid here, but he probably doesn't mind. That is a stellar lap time for Marcus Murray in the Honda. No driver even close to him right now in qualifying, and just showing the power of the Honda on this track. Do have drivers
Nordell with a good lap.
Nordell with a very good lap. We can jump over to him, see what he's doing. 6/10 up in sector, I believe that is sector 2. Where is he going here? No, that is sector 3. He's in the bus stop chicane. Ignore me. I usually don't have any idea what's going on, so just watch the race. And he comes across the line with a 219 flat.
Nice.
Very nice for him. Lots of drivers starting to sneak into those 218s, and plenty more. Our top 9 drivers all in the 219s, so very good laps for them. Jorge Esteban, what happened to him? We might want to just see what happened while all of these
I think
drivers.
he's happy.
Jorge? 219.
I think he's happy with his time.
Let's see what he does into the bus stop.
It's a good lap.
It's a very good lap. It looks like, yes, another driver finishing his lap and going into the pits. We really just have to hope that we are seeing these drivers crash, because it is more fun to watch than a driver finishing his lap and going into the pits. But too bad for us. We don't get to see a crash. I'm sure we'll see plenty of those. Victor, we were talking before the stream started about lap 1, turn 1. Oh my goodness.
Oh.
What the heck happened to Jason Fauchard? That is worthwhile watching there. This could be very fun. Let's see what happens to him, as all of us who love watching crashes get to rub our hands together and see another victim of this exact turn that we are just about talking about. Yes, lap 1, turn 1. What are you expecting from these drivers going into one of the most difficult lap 1s in the game, as we see Fauchard almost absolutely pasting another driver. Manages not to. Some good awareness by the other driver to stay out.
I just hope everyone don't crash and don't stand like baboons on lap 1, because that's the main issue. The people think he's Max Verstappen. If gap car, no, people, relax, have time to overtake another friend.
It's a long race, an hour 15 minutes, pit stops to be had, and with a pit window, I believe, in play, nobody wants to be Nobody wants to have to pit before the pit window opens. Have to pit again. We see Brenham with a very clean line through Rouge and Radion. Kenji right behind, going a little wide. That is, that's not what. I don't think that's the ideal racing
because
line.
people, it's your fault. You show people spin.
That certainly was a spin. As we get Hamling as well. Did Hamling die? Hamling died. Certainly nobody likes that, of course, except for maybe me.
Let's
and
see
hopefully
how
our
he
viewers.
dies.
He doesn't
Nah,
die.
nah.
Boo. Ooh, it'd be better if you crashed, Hamling. Of course not. We wouldn't wish.
Shame on you. Penalty for him. There you go.
Penalty. Yes. Maybe we'll get the stewards in the chat. No, obviously we would never hope for crashes in the race. Qualifying, it's just a little bit more fun when we get to see the humanity of some of these drivers, especially our drivers at the front like Marcus and Brenham and Hamling putting up just ridiculous times. Sometimes it's good to be reminded that even our fastest drivers can make mistakes. Only 4 minutes left in qualifying here, and still a huge gap from Marcus Murray to Oyston Brenham and the rest of the grid. That is almost, what is that, 6/10. That is 6/10 and a bit for Murray and Brenham. Now, Victor, last race, as we'd mentioned, Marcus Murray qualifying well, qualifying in P2, getting the better of Tyler Babin as Tyler makes a mistake at the start, gets a drive-through, but manages, unfortunately, to crash a couple times during the race, during the back half of the race, and loses what was a very confident P1, loses it, goes down to P2. What do you think is going through Murray's mind right now? He's up another 10th on this lap as he comes through Eau Rouge a little bit faster. What do you think's going through his mind at the start of this race and trying to keep it on track in a race that may end up being wet, but even if it isn't?
I'm pretty sure he wants to send it on Eau Rouge, stay on top because the Honda is pretty much the fastest car on the straight of the grid. Never let the P1, P2 get near for him, because if he at the came straight is P1, it's over. He's a good driver, he's not gonna get a drive-through. That just jinxed him. Please, Murray, don't get a drive-through, please.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're already tempting fate by simply watching him right now. But as you mentioned, one of the best drivers on the grid here, and certainly one of the fastest as well. So we'll have to see how he handles this behemoth of a car, because the Honda, as you mentioned, very fast, very deadly, and you can see the pace that's possible to pull from this car. He's currently 3/10 up on his already ridiculously fast 217.8. 3/10 up and gaining, so maybe the track evolution is helping him. Wow, that should have, and just barely keeps it valid. It was a bit of a shock that he didn't as we switch over to Murray, but no, let's go back. Come on, broadcasting software. Let's watch this guy. Keep it on him. Maybe even the software doesn't want us to jinx him, but we say no. He gets a good line. David Sparks with a 2:18.2, a very nice time for him. Marcus, even faster now,
Jesus
just putting on a clinic. that is something.
Not even fun anymore.
And I mean, one thing we should note, if you look at the bottom of the screen there, that wasn't even his best Sector 1. He's still gotten, let's go take a look at what his best Sector 1 is. His best Sector 1 is a his best Sector 1 is a 40.635, and his best in that lap was a 40.64. So he could gain 0.05 of a second on his best time. So maybe he's not going to feel too bad about that then. Just about on the limit for him, as there's just 1 minute left in qualifying.
270.4 high, I mean, that's a good time.
How can you complain about a 217.4? I've never sniffed a 217. That's not true. I think I did a 218.1 once in my life, maybe never again. Murray, a driver, for those of you who don't know, his personal best on this track Believe it or not, a 2:16.6 done in practice in hot lap mode, I believe. But still, it just shows how crazy fast he can be on Spa. He's put in the time, and it shows here as he's putting on an absolute clinic. But that shouldn't still discount the blazing fast David Sparks in second place, who unfortunately their lap is done. Not sure what happened to him. Couldn't be anything good. No way to discount anyone like Hamling, Brenham, Fauchard. Really anyone who's putting up a time in the 2:20s or 2:19s has pace, has the opportunity and the chance to make something of themselves here as we go back. Let's see what happened to Eli Poe on his now final lap. Coming up, Eau Rouge, maybe another victim. Again, a 2:19.7 is his best and a very nice lap. But we will have to see what happens to him as he comes into Eau Rouge. Maybe not taking as wide a line as he wants. Getting a bit bumpy. What happens to him? And there it goes.
And Brennan with a good lap. He's on sector 3.
Brenham and Hamling both putting up fantastic times. Let's jump over to Brenham, 4/10 up. As you mentioned, he's coming through. Oh, he's coming through bus stop, 6/10 up. This loses maybe a tenth on the final turn of bus stop. But this is a very fast. That is a 17.92. Very nice lap from him. Puts him up into second place, although we will have to see what happens to Hamling here. Hamling also up almost 4/10.
He's at the campus.
And so he's... oh, okay. No, he's keeping it. So finishes up Piff Paff. He's coming through Stavelot. Loses a bit of time there. Loses about half a tenth. But not a lap-breaking run. We will see if he holds it, because this currently he lost enough time that he would no longer be eligible for second place with this lap. So he's going to have to find a little bit of time in Blanchemont and into the bus stop chicane if he wants to take second place from Oysten Brenham. We'll have to see how he does in the bus stop. Coming into the braking zone, braking hard, turning in. That's pretty nice. That was a very, very nice bus stop. Again, loses a little bit on the exit. It's going to be very close. It's going to be very close, and he is not able to do it. That is a third place for Hamling, a 2:17.972, blazing fast, but unfortunately not quite enough to put him on the front row, and that is the end of our qualifying. Marcus Murray in the pole position. Fantastic lap, fantastic qualifying for him. Oysten Brenham, another beautiful lap in the Lamborghini to put him in second place. And up and down the grid, we have many drivers all putting up pretty darn decent times. Take a look at our drivers here, and let's see who's leading the silver class currently. Gonna have to jump over. Where do we have some of our drivers? And sorry, who was that, Victor, who's leading our silver class today?
Esteban. Jorge Esteban at the Ferrari.
It is Steven. Steven in the Ferrari. I am completely lost.
P9.
P9. Jorge Esteban. In P9. Jorge is... what? Jorge is a silver driver? Am I crazy?
Jorge is silver.
He's silver. Wow.
Yes.
All right. Well, very nice lap for Jorge Esteban then. Apologies to our viewers. Clearly, my brain doesn't work very well. It's the old age. Being 25, it just, the bones rattle. The brain, it just it doesn't work the way that you want it to, unfortunately. So, sorry to our viewers for having to deal with almost 2 hours of me speaking nonsense. Hopefully, Victor can steer the course here. Now, Victor, Spa-Francorchamps, one of the longest, I believe, the longest lap in the game. And why don't, if you will, why don't you take us through a bit of a track walk here? As we've got a video to show you all with a little bit of time left before the race starts. We've got a very quick track walk and a track overview to show you all. Victor, would you do me the honors of explaining our quick lap around Spa-Francorchamps?
We began at La Sauce. I love that turn because it's not that hard and they have always good overtake at that point. From La Sauce until Lecombe, you have to go full throttle. If you lift on a road, you're gonna lose time and someone can overtake you at the end of the Kimmer Straight. At the end of Kimmer Straight, we have Lecombe that start the sector 2. It's a right, left, right. It's easy, not so hard. If you try to send there, you are baboon. Don't send there. Please never. Don't work. After the comes, you have the probably the most hated turn at Spa. Bruxelles. It's hated. Oh, thank you, Regan.
We're jumping over from our track walk. Unfortunately, that video even slowed down ridiculously fast. This one gives you a little more time to explain as we watch an onboard on the Kemmel Straight. And Victor, please continue
Oh,
your commentary as we have our drivers coming down Kemmel Straight.
They, you get this draft to someone of the overtake him at the end to hit the Lecombs. Lecombs, right, left, right. It's hard to overtake. Normally on turn 1 you overtake, but after that it's pretty much hard. You normally wait and go to overtake at the Bruxelles. It's a hard turn. It's hard to get the point on the braking and acceleration, but I gave good positions. After that we have the no name. Why no name? Don't ask me. Ask the Belgians. Regan, do you know why it's no name is no name?
Maybe they just got lazy. They ran out of names.
Okay, after after no name you have Pujon, are fast, left-handed, almost impossible to overtake. It's sector 2, almost impossible to overtake. After Pujon Campus, you get closer to the another guy if you really need the lines. After the campus, we have the one of my favorite turns on the game. It's Stave a lot because if you get right, you have the huge straight of the Blechman, and you could overtake someone before the chicane or at the chicane. A long straight, the favorite Lamborghinis, Honda, Solaris really can enjoy because you could overtake the damn Porsche that's gay ahead of you on Sector 2. At the end of Sector 3, we have the chicane, bus stop chicane. Everyone hates it because it's so easy to you lose time there. And we have the end of the track. A good lap here for the Silvers 220, for the Pros 218, 219, and to AMs is 221, 222. This on the dry. Probably everyone gonna stay with a full tank, so we expect something about 219s on the pros for the race lap. It's not a bad lap. It's not a bad lap at all.
And
It's a
thank you.
beautiful track.
You are right indeed. Thank you for that wonderful track walk. As we've got our drivers here, just waiting to start. We've got maybe Victor. You can let me know how many seconds we've got before the race starts here.
I want to. I looking at Babin car. I just love it.
Yes, Tyler Babin's car. It's I don't think we've ever directly mentioned it on stream yet. Why can't we get a good view of this thing? Come on. Maybe somewhere here. Hell, let's go to the chase cam. As the car mentions, we've got a very descriptive livery as our drivers just start their formation lap. And he's slowly going down the line again. Was not able to qualify as he was a dirty driver at Laguna Seca. Not necessarily, of course, exaggerating, but a driver who had too many penalty points and was not able to qualify along with the car in front, Paul Krobs. You see the drivers bunching up. What are they doing? We have a problem.
Look at Murray.
Where is Marcus? What? Oh, no. Oh, did he not click the button?
I think so.
I think he forgot to click the button.
No.
Murray,
Ah,
that.
I feel bad for him.
I certainly do too. I mean, there was a 5 minute timer. It was originally a 2 minute timer before the start of the race. That was extended to 5 during the practice races upon request, partially from us from the broadcast booth, so we had time to let everyone catch up. But
I
I
think he
guess
have a
Marie,
long pit stop at the bathroom. I think that's the problem.
very well might be it. Excuse me, very well might be it. Really, really unfortunate for him. Again, he is a fantastically fast driver, so I wouldn't even discount him from a high points finish yet. The same way that we saw Tyler overcome a lot of adversity and some mistakes to jump up into 6th place, but that is a huge, huge disappointment for him. He's not going to be happy, and hopefully he's able to compose himself and get back on track. One thing to mention, he is certainly going to be safe from whatever first lap antics our drivers get into. Last year at Spas on lap 1, if I remember correctly, we had an incident on Eau Rouge. We had an incident in Lake Holmes that took out a couple drivers. We had an incident at not Stavros. What is it?
I think we have a Pujon.
What is it here? Bruxelles.
Yes.
We had an incident at Bruxelles where I was an unfortunate victim of a stopped car on track who had been spun out. So you can all feel bad for me as I wasn't, as I took damage and still, of course, finished a valiant 16th place. So I think you can all be very proud of me for that one, as I am. And yes, so essentially. We are very likely, I would say, and I don't like saying it, but I believe we are very likely to see some crashes, some unfortunate incidents on this first lap. As good as our drivers are, everyone makes mistakes, and the margin for error on lap 1 at Spa is in microscopic.
Rig, I have a question for you. You know, everyone you're watching, the person crash or spun. Who you gonna be watching at the race start?
Well, that is a great question. There's always at Laguna Seca we had too many incidents to pay attention to on lap 1, so we just tried our best to keep our camera where the action is. Here we are going to be trying our best. We're gonna throw it on helicam. We're gonna try to jump through as many cars as we can, and we're gonna start at the front and see what happens. Hopefully. As our drivers are just coming up to La Source to the end of the lap. We will have to see what happens. Again, that is not that is the finish line, but not the starting line. We've got a little bit of time left until the start line. As drivers are just about to come down La Source, all bunched up, all the way down the grid. Everyone except for poor Marcus.
Oh, Marcus. I am really sad for him.
I am too, but again, he is able to avoid some of these incidents as we are very close to going green. Our drivers are just coming up to the line, and nothing yet. They're just hoping to stay close. Brenham quite a bit farther ahead than Hamling. Hopefully not a bad thing, and we're off. We're off.
Oh my God, we have problems.
We have problems already. Oh no.
Yes.
We've got, I believe it's Bosman already off. We've got Fauchard. Oh no. Oh lordy. This is not good. You know what? We knew this was going to happen. I think it's time for a replay. Oh no.
Christ.
It's a slaughter. We all thought this might happen, and it did. We've got an instant replay going here. Just catching one of our drivers in the middle. There's too many people crashing out to count. Tyler Babin already up to 11th place, keeping his nose safe. Ruffo down in 20th. Kongwa in 26th. Marcus even making up a spot now. Paul Krabs, it looks like just got overtaken. Apologies for the long replay here, but wanted to catch as much as we can. It looks like things have gotten sorted out at the front
Say
now.
shame on
And
these
oh
drivers.
my
This
goodness!
looks like public lobby.
And apologies again. That was a not the best replays we've got. McAvey. Oh, McAvey catching something into and going off track. Unfortunate for him, but it does mean Tyler Babin already up into 10th place. Jumping around now to Hamling. Drivers at the front, Oyston Brenham, Guillaume Hamling, Sparks and Nordell, all relatively safe, which is, of course, very nice to see for them. But not a lot going on there. And then in the back, because of that crash, we already have so many cars all jumbled around that we've got large gaps between many of the drivers. We do have Fauchard against, that is Dan Schneider right now. So that's we'll have to see. Unfortunately, with that Porsche, even getting as we've talked about, getting gaining time in sector 2 and maybe even through bus stop, might be trying to switch back here. Nope, goes around the outside. As we've got, here we go. We've got our race gaps.
Oh my god! I just watched the
This should
problem
help.
at the lap 1.
It's
so terrible.
It's unfortunate. Again, I have to apologize to our viewers for missing out on a replay of that first lap crash. Very unfortunate there. But yes, a huge crash as we saw. We've got Jorge Esteban. Oh no, Jorge going off track. Let's see if maybe we can get a better replay here. As we go to replays, he goes up Rouge and Radion, and I imagine without any drivers nearby, catches the curb, and in the Ferrari, you do not want to touch that curb. Spins out. Luckily for him, not much of a tap at all, so he was able to keep his car out of the wall and on track. So luckily he is still alive and well, losing nothing but time and a little bit of a shot to his ego. Drivers all over the grid. We've got 3 drivers, Esteban, Haukeba, and Goringer also going off. As we've got the battle, two Porsches coming up against an Audi, and the Audi of Jason Fauchard under threat, but again with the Porsches not having a lot of top speed, as we actually see Tyler going through now after a mistake from Jason, and a nice tidy 8th place for Tyler Babin, only 2 laps in, so very nicely done for him. McAvey taking a spot on Peters, so it looks like Peters may have had an issue. Esteban and Prevot are going slowly. Slow drivers all over the grid. So we've got 3 drivers here, all bunched up. This is a fight for 15th place between Prevot, Esteban, and Haukeba. As we've got Esteban, going down the inside, and wow, what a move from Jorge Esteban on Bryce Prevot. Prevot very, both drivers doing well to leave room, and just simply a very nice overtake. Prevot as well, possibly losing another spot now to Haukeba. So Prevot in just a couple corners goes from 16th place or 15th place down to 17th place. As we have Tyler Babin and Fauchard fighting quite close, tooth and nail for these two. Both very fast drivers, pro drivers in the race. 2 Porsches going up Eau Rouge. The one time a Porsche might actually be able to make an overtake through the Kemmel Straight is when it's against another Porsche. So Tyler will do well to take a good line, and his line does look a little bit better than Fauchard's. He's got the draft from Dan Schneider, and it should be safe for him. We have a driver coming out of the pits. I believe that is one of our drivers down a lap down already due to incidents.
Oh.
And we've got Johansson and Jorge Esteban. Oh,
no,
Jorge,
again.
Let's go for a quick replay. Is this the second time? Oh, I believe this is the second time, and much worse accident for Jorge. Very poor to see as well. A quick note before we get back to the action. We already have Murray up into a top position. Looks like we've got a bit of contact possibly between Tyler and Jason. Not enough to take them out, but certainly close racing going on here. We also have Haukeba and Peters in the background. Haukeba making an overtake on Peters as we see Tyler wanting to take the inside, not able to. Quick note, the front 4 drivers still keeping it neat and tidy. We're not seeing a lot of movement there. Not much to watch. We've got Prevot slow. It's an absolute slaughter. Marcus Murray up to 17th place as Goringer. Looks like may have had an incident. Goringer, another rookie in the league, moving over after many years driving in iRacing. He has made the switch to ACC. Noted the very different braking styles between the two games, something he's still getting used to, and may have caused him to get a little squirrely and lose a position. I'm going to jump over just to show Marcus Murray getting the better of Prevot. Prevot looks like maybe moving out of the way and making it work. We're also, as well, going to jump back because we have Tyler Babin, who was finally able to make the overtake as soon as the camera moves away from him. Was able to make the overtake. Looks like on the inside, going into the bus stop chicane, brakes later, those Porsche brakes doing their job, and a beautiful move by him to get up into 7th place. Fantastic for him. Marcus Murray.
A hell of a good job.
Yeah, fantastic for him starting from the back. Marcus Murray also up to 15th place, a move on Kurt Peters quite quickly. Jorge, it looks like, is going a bit slow. Drivers all over, and certainly Jorge not having a race that he's enjoying. And many drivers suffering the effects of first lap incidents. Things are starting to calm down here as we get Haukeba.
That's you.
Well, oops. Haukeba was very close and potentially eyeing an overtake, and maybe just got a little greedy in Eau Rouge as he goes off and goes onto the Kemmel Straight, limping his way back up to speed. Marcus Murray, a driver that we were feeling very sorry for, well, he's probably feeling pretty good right now. Within maybe 3 laps. Yeah, 3 laps. He's gone from pit lane start to 14th place. Fantastic stuff for him. Jason Fauchard still on the back of Dan Schneider. This is a fight we're going to have to be watching very closely. We've got Prevot inching up onto the back of Kurt Peters as well. So many drivers coming close, trying to make some moves. Haukeba getting the better of Boringer off screen. Many things going on. Too many to keep track of. We can only hope that we can catch everything possible. Let's
One update. Pit window is open.
Okay, pit window is open. Still very early, but any drivers who tried to hold off, maybe they're going to try to make an early pit stop and work their way back into into a long second stint in order to make up for those issues that they would have started with. But it's tough to say if anyone's going to want to be going into the pits right now.
We have a battle. P17, Prevot, and Goringer.
Prevot and Goringer as
his name.
Oh, and Murray going up on Johansson. Johansson going into the pits. Where is Goringer? We've got Goringer here fighting for his life and also for a position against Bryce Prevot. Bryce Prevot going into the pits. A lot of drivers after those first lap incidents. It does look like we've got a lot of drivers who are planning on pitting early and just taking a long second stint, making the best of a bad situation. So there's going to be a lot of drivers on this track at the end of the race on very poor tires. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. As we've got Tyler Babin with, I believe that is a back marker actually fighting with him right now. And I'm not sure who that is, but he's got an Aston Martin in front of him.
It's cool. How I have to say his name?
That is Poe. It's Eli Poe. I believe you are correct. Eli Poe, and he was a driver who I believe qualified quite well. He was certainly doing well in practice.
He dies on lap 1.
He dies on lap 1, and that is most likely why we see such a fast driver making his way through the field, passing one of our fastest on the grid, Tyler Babin. Hopefully not holding him up, as we've got Esteban and Goringer fighting. Fights all along the grid. But yes, hopefully Tyler Babin is not held up too much by this fast driver. You see as Jorge Esteban, it looks like, wants to go for a move on Peters, is right on the back of him. Gets a good release through Pujan, and it looks like that is a position for Jorge Esteban. A very nice move for him. Up into P15. Very nice. Kurt Peters trying his best to hold it, but was not able to. Jumping over to Steve Poe, trying to go down the outside against, this is Paul Renault, fight for 10th place. They are side by side, both drivers, a fantastic fight here. And as I say that, it looks like we might have to go to a quick instant replay, because I believe that Paul R.
That's ACC physics to you.
That is very unfortunate for Paul. It looks like I believe that was Steve Poe. I believe Steve Poe maybe just not leaving enough room. It looks like he started to sway out just slightly to the side. Not enough that, as you mentioned, in real life, not enough to cause any sort of real issues, just a bit of scraping. But as this is ACC, I believe that caused Paul R to as we see, go wide and into the wall. We've got a couple drivers now. A lot of the drivers in the back into the pits. Paul Krobs with a 100.5 second pit stop, 76 seconds stationary. We've got 76 seconds stationary for Bosman, for Ben Fiore, for Pashov, 76. Many drivers. Let's jump over to Marcus Murray, who's right on the back of Paul R. Paul must be shaking in his boots. And as we say that, Murray's able to get by without too much of a fight. And McAvey is next in his sights, who's already fighting right now with Steve Poe. So we'll watch here to see if...
I think McAvey has some damage on the rear of the car.
Well, let's see if maybe we can take a look at that. Let's jump over to our favorite view, the chase cam. And yes, quite a bit of damage on the back of McAvey. Obviously, tons of incidents all up and down the field. So we'll have to see if that damage is hurting his pace. He's still right on the back of Steve Poe, so I'm imagining it's not hurting him too badly. But it's still something to keep an eye on. Maybe hurting his top speed enough that a move through the Kemmel Straight or the back straight might be difficult. Hanging on to the back of him, as we see Jason Fauchard, it looks like, going slow, maybe into the pits. McAvey not able to make a move here, trying to line himself up to get a good exit. This could be a fight that goes on for a little while now, as he's lost a bit of time to Steve. I think, as you mentioned, I think the damage may be hurting his top speed, as he actually lost time. He's now 8/10 back. But we'll see if he's able to make the move through clean driving and maybe trying to pressure the front driver of Steve Poe into a mistake. Might be the only way he can do it. Let's jump. We haven't given our front runners too much time, so why don't we jump over to Oystein Brenham for a moment. Oystein, again, still first place. He was first place last time, and he is first place right now in Spa. It's quite interesting to see Brenham again in first place. A very fast driver. Got a little bit of luck at Laguna Seca to get up into first place, and a little bit of luck again from Murray starting in the pits. So he's clearly a fast driver, but enjoying some fantastic luck, and of course enjoying his fantastic pace to keep him in front of Hamlin in second place, keeping a nice clean gap at the moment.
And he have the fastest lap of the race, 2:18.1.
A fantastic lap there. You were correct. The 2:18.1 is the fastest of the race. Other drivers close by, very few drivers actually are able to put up that kind of time. Eli Poe, the driver we had mentioned, passing, he was not on the lead lap, but passing Tyler Babin. He's done a 2:18.7 one of the fastest drivers on the track. Marcus Murray in 11th place has done a 2:18.442, so another driver putting up best times, although Oysten Brenham has just improved once again. He's actually down to a 2:18.15, so fantastic for him. And a couple other drivers, Hamling also in the 2:18s, 2:18.5. Sparks has done a 2:18.6, so there's some very fast drivers. Interestingly, the best lap for Carl Nordell in 4th place is a 2:20 flat, so almost a second off of the front runners. And as we mentioned, and it looks like he might have a little bit of damage on the back there as well. As we mentioned, the Mercedes, very difficult to drive on this track, very difficult to set up, but he's managed to keep it nice and tidy, and is just working his way, hoping that Max Stope keeps the gap to Max Stope, and is able to keep in front for long enough that these fast drivers putting up better times, such as Tyler Babin with a 2:19 flat is his fastest, don't have time to catch up through the traffic.
Oh, look at McAvey just overtake. Oh.
McAvey, and I'm not sure. Oh, very close here, and McAvey is able to make the overtake on Poe. That is Paul Renault getting out of the way. It's very nice on the Kemmel Straight. It looks like he was finally able to make that move stick. He had the pace and got the run through Eau Rouge. Very nice driving for him. Steve Poe not far behind, and it's going to be a big struggle for McAvey with that damage to keep the drivers in front, or to keep himself in front. Also, Marcus Murray, and we keep going back to him.
He's flying.
He's up to 11th place. He's flying, and he's got Steve Poe and McAvey right in his sights now. We jump back to Eli Poe, again one of the drivers we mentioned, with a 2:18 on their best lap. A very fast driver coming up against Johansson. Johansson, no slouch, but Poe has just been on another level.
Yellow
one of the
flag.
few drivers. Oh, do we have a yellow?
Car number 95.
That number 95. What has happened?
Haukeba
has. It looks like Haukeba, even though he had the yellow flag, he's actually moved up a spot. He has passed Jeremy Goringer. Not sure what happened there. If there was an incident, as we do see Eli Poe make the move on Johansson. Very nice move for him. If Haukeba or Johansson, or sorry, Goringer, if there was contact, it doesn't seem to have affected either driver so far, but it's always so hard to tell with these drivers moving so fast, with information flying at us. These drivers, of course, all not willing to slow down to help us keep track of what's going on. We've got Marcus Murray going for a move on Steve Poe. Funny enough, we've just and this is Steve Poe, not Eli Poe. Two Poes as Poe.
Squeeze.
That was a squeeze, but you know what? I would say that was a good squeeze. He did leave room. I mean, he left just enough room, but Murray. With the car control,
right now.
he is just flying. This is madness. He's up to 10th place, and he's bearing down now on Razvan Makavej. 1.5 seconds back, and with the top speed of that Honda, I'm sure he'll be gaining very quickly.
How he overtake the guy and it's 1 second ahead? Man, it makes no sense to me.
Murray, you know, it's part Honda, part Murray, and it just turns into a mix of success. It's hard to say, you know, with guys who drive that much faster, it's hard for me to analyze why he is so good. If I was a better driver, maybe I could give some sort of technical explanation, but all I can say is fast guy is fast.
It's
Murray,
easy. Just have to throw it harder. That's it.
I guess.
Make less.
Yeah, you very well might be correct. We've got Tyler Babin up in 6th place. Again, starting from the back, and he's already up in 6th place. A phenomenal drive for him. We all expected it, but he's just proving how fast he is time and time again. Currently making a move now on Max Stope for 5th place.
Overtake McAvey.
And it hasn't even been half a lap. And Murray already up in 9th place. We should just have a second screen just for Murray Cam, so we can watch him carve his way up the field. 9th place for him, and we're not even halfway through. We're 20 minutes into the race. He started from the pits. He's in 9th place.
This
what
is
the heck?
madness. I love this race so far.
There's been a ton going on, and after the crazy start, the many incidents that we unfortunately didn't catch, seems like our drivers are. I was going to say they're settling in, but none of them are settling in. They're all either
Push,
too
push, push,
fast.
push.
Oh, as we've got Tyler hoping to get a good run on Max Stope for 5th place. Want to make a note of Kenji Tan. Kenji in 7th place, a silver driver who's had a very good qualifying, has kept it clean. Shout out to Kenji Tan for 7th place. Really good race for him. He'll be happy if he's able to keep that position. We've got Johansson in the back, losing a bit of time. It doesn't look like anything crazy, so nothing to pay attention to there. But we'll keep an eye on to see if anything else happens to him, and he's back up to speed. So maybe a little bit of a snag, but nothing too bothersome.
I have to say, this is the worst scenario possible to Tyler. Because you have another Porsche ahead of him. He can't outbrake another Porsche because have the same brake, so how you overtake another car like you when you have another good driver like Stoop?
Well, and you make a very good point. Max Stope, a fantastic driver. It's interesting because when you driving the Porsche on Spa against other cars with faster top speed, like you said, you know exactly what your game plan is. You have to go for a move in the turns, sector 2, maybe sector 3, and just pray that you make enough space that they're not able to fight back on Kemmel Straight. But here, as you mentioned, the car in front of him is just as fast in the turns and just as slow on the straights. Now, there's a case to be made that with a good release here onto the back straight, he might be able to use the toe to get something going, and I'm sure Tyler's feeling that way, although maybe he has no experience passing in a straight line, so this might be a bit scary for him. But it's an interesting fight when you've got Porsche versus Porsche. He's starting to close the gap. The toe is working, and he tries, and as you say, he tries maybe to cut to the inside, but Stope is... I think he tried. I think that was a send, but Stope just good on the brakes, catches the right spot, and a beautiful move for him. Well, and I'm sure Tyler might, depending on how long it takes to get past, or if he gets past, he may be feeling the same way, but... after already starting from the back, I don't know if he wants to risk getting another penalty point this early in the season. We'll see if that has anything or has an effect on his psyche. As we watch him go up Eau Rouge, looks like a decent run for him. We'll see if this is enough to make a move. Again, we're going to see Stope able to brake at the same time, and it looks like even though Tyler a bit later on the brakes, it wasn't enough. We're going to keep an eye there, but jump over to Steve Poe. Steve Poe, another guy with ridiculous pace right now. Oh no, McAvey. We've got, and McAvey, he's with 2 hits. 1 hit, 2 hit. Red hit, blue hit for Razvan McAvey. That is not great for him, and a free spot for Steve Poe. For all the spots that Marcus Murray's been carving up, Steve Poe with very good pace, and a free spot for him up into 10th. So very nice move for him. We've got Haukeba. Oh no, God. McAvey. McAvey with another spin. I'm sure the damage on his car isn't helping him feel the control needed to keep it on track. Might be a situation where he needs to start limping back, get into the pits.
Yeah, he has to go to the pits.
Yeah, it's. I mean, the only person who really knows how the car feels right now is him. But you can see again going wide. Oh, the car is.
Yeah, have known downforce.
The car is not working right now. This is really unfortunate for McAvey, who's having a good race up in the points, and he's going to be disappointed. And we'll see how well he's able to limp himself back and get back on track and racing. Jumping over.
Guess what? Guess who's the fastest driver of the race and is going to overtake another person?
Oh my goodness! Is Marcus Murray already on track for another overtake? Come on, Marcus. What a camera hog here. We've got him just flying, now bearing down on Dan Schneider. Dan Schneider, another rookie in the league, and a very, very solid drive from him out of Laguna Seca. But Murray is just another beast entirely. Jorge Esteban looks like he might make a move, and we're going to quickly jump over, just quickly. Not for too long, because we do want to see Murray make his move. It looks like he might even make it before oh, wow. He's getting right to the back. This is a dangerous place to be. Has to, as you can see, he has to lift a little bit to get himself through Eau Rouge. Want to keep an eye on him and Esteban as McAvey. Oh, we can spare him from putting the camera on another spin. He's just having a hard time getting that car through. Murray wanting to maybe scare Schneider a little bit, but isn't able to. Jumping over to Tyler Babin, who's also right on the back of Dan Schneider. And we've got a lot of very close fights going on, all at the same time. Jorge Esteban, half a second back from Bryce Prevot. We've got Marcus Murray, 0.4 seconds back from Dan Schneider, and Tyler Babin, 0.4 seconds back from Max Stope. All interesting fights. We wish we could show you all of them, but unfortunately, we've got to choose. Marcus looks like he might be making a run. CJP Cloud in the chat. McAvey. Okay, so McAvey. That's Christian. Hey, Christian.
Yeah.
So as Christian mentions, McAvey was mentioning he was struggling with the Ferrari at Spa, which makes sense. Ferrari can be quite a handful here from the little bit of time I've spent on it. Tough car to drive, and as we saw, he's just not able to keep it together on Eau Rouge. And after that, the damage made it nigh impossible.
It's even overtake, and McAvey at the pits.
So we've got McAvey in the pits. He's made it back. We're happy to see that. As we do have Jason Fauchard. He's showing slow, but not bad enough for us to really mind too much. Tyler Babin's dropped back a little bit from Max Stope. Maybe a little bit of a mistake, pushing too hard, and he's going to have to regroup and try to bridge that gap. Again, no pressure behind from Kenji, so he's got time to make it work, as we've got Murray right on the back of Dan Schneider. Again, very close. It's not a long straight he's on right now, but is he able to possibly make something work? He doesn't look like he's trying it. Honda, not great on the brakes. One of the worst brakes in the game, but then again, so is the Audi. The Audi is not a fantastic braker, so two very relatively similar cars driving here as Murray gets a run, and Dan. It looks like Dan realized what was happening. He keeps himself on track, and as we've seen from some of our drivers like McAvey, as we saw from lap 1, keeping yourself on track is at the end of the day the most important thing you can do. I'm not gonna boo Dan Schneider too much for that one. Why would you? Marcus, we've seen his pace. He's stupid. He's crazy. Why bother? Keep yourself safe. Live to fight another lap, and just let Marcus do what he wants. Again, as we're
McAvey still on the pits.
McAvey, well, let's see here. Yes, currently at 147 seconds, currently and running. He's still stationary. Clearly, a lot of damage for him to deal with. In 21st place for him. One of the drivers, and I believe Ruffo was one of our top qualifiers, if I'm not mistaken. He's current best of a 219.747 in last place.
You saw he had a DSQ, so he can't do the quali at all.
You're right. He was disqualified. He wasn't able to qualify for this one, so he was starting from the back, and I guess unfortunately, unlike some of the other fast drivers, he's not been able to make his way up the field. We'll skip as well because we haven't given Oyston Brenham too much camera time. Not much to see from him.
Yellow flag for McAvey.
Oh no.
Oh no, he's leaving the pits.
Okay. He's leaving the pits. Thank God. We don't want to see any more incidents from him. We're hoping he can keep it clean. But yes, Oyston Brenham, again, just keeping good pace. Last lap at 218.7, best lap at 218.15. Very fast driver, ridiculously fast driver. Still fastest lap of the race for everything we say about Murray. He has a fastest lap by about half a tenth, so nothing to sneeze at there. Oyston Brenham, still a very clean, very fast drive for him. And just 3.8 seconds behind, so certainly still in contention, is Hamling, who's just maybe slightly slower than Brenham, but not so much that it would ever. It's certainly very realistic that Hamling can make a charge for first place. As we saw at Nürburgring, Hamling can be dominant when he is on it and when he feels comfortable. Back to the fight with Tyler Babin. And again, Tyler, we've said it a couple times, had to start from the back, and he is working his way up to 6th place and has been fighting with Max Stope for at least 5 laps now. He's been right on the back of him. Stope, not putting a wheel wrong yet, has been able to fight off the driver, as we've got Steve Poe. Oh no, Poe. Let's go see what happened to him. He's got Paul Renault behind him on a different lap. And just what happens to him here? It looks all neat and tidy, and then a little bit too much steering, too much throttle, and off he goes. So unfortunate for Poe, but it doesn't look like it caused too much damage to him. Doesn't even look like he's lost a position yet, although he does now have Helkeba bearing down on him, only 2.5 seconds back, so might be a little scared now, but his pace has been good, so Poe's just hoping he can keep himself nice, neat, and tidy, and on track.
Yellow flag, Mark Ruffo.
Who's got the yellow? That's 222 of Ruffo in last, and he's... Just not a good race for Ruffo. As you mentioned, disqualified from qualifying. He was not eligible for qualifying, but it looks like he may not have noticed or remembered that and went on track and was disqualified during qualifying. And his race is just not panned out the way he wanted. Very fast driver, but as we see there, just bad luck, and the Ferrari up Eau Rouge. We all know what can happen
all
there.
the 3 Ferraris died today at the Rouge. I think it's a Ferrari problem, not a driver problem.
Gotta be a Ferrari problem. I mean, the car, it's not a car that you always hear when you think of the scariest cars to drive. You hear Porsche, you think Honda. The Ferrari, Mercedes here. But the Ferrari has never been a fan of curbs. It's very scary on curbs, and of course, Spa, a track where you need to be taking curbs all the time. As you see, he's avoiding the curbs there, like the Plague on Puhan. Probably a smart move. So the Ferraris just not able to keep themselves on track right now. Very, very unfortunate race for them. Is the fight. There is a manufacturer's standings, so the Ferrari as a whole, Mr. Ferrari is not going to be happy with the performance of his team today.
Not at all. And I send you on the private the replay time of the lap 1 chaos on the cars numbers.
I wonder if, while we don't have access going or anything too crazy going on, maybe we can jump over and finally show our viewers a proper...
Look at Murray again.
I was about to say again, even during a slow time, oh no, Brenham, nope, he's fine. Brenham showing slow, but maybe he just wanted to scare us.
Shame on you, Christian. Shame on you.
Come on, Victor, give him the classic boo. Sorry, Christian.
Oh,
no,
Hamling's beating.
Hamling. Oh, Hamling in our pits. One of the first top drivers. Sorry, Christian. We don't really mean to boo you. Well, I don't mean to boo you, even though I asked him to boo.
But I think it's a little early to pit.
Well, it's... thank you, Christian. It's what are we in? We're 35 minutes in, so that's 39 minutes left. I guess it depends on the car. Maybe they want to make an undercut. Certainly can be powerful on this track. It's such a long lap that if you decide not to pit, you're spending the next 2 minutes and 20 seconds wondering if that was the right decision. Murray, he only a couple, maybe 3-4 laps ago, he was, I think, around 8 seconds back of Kenji, and now here he is bearing down on him. Once again, the monster gobbling up another spot unless Kenji can pull off some magic. We've talked about how difficult...
Last lap of Kenji, 2:20.9. Last lap of Murray, 2:18.5.
Over 2 seconds difference. Wow, and there we go. Kenji again saying, you know what? This isn't my fight. Victor, come on. You know what he needs.
And harder. Come on.
Right. And you know what? I want to give credit to Kenji. He did not have a good race at Laguna Seca. A very difficult race for him. Finishing in the 20s, having some incidents. So I understand, especially being in 6th place, a very, very strong showing for him so far as we're about halfway through the race. I understand him wanting to say, you know what, Murray, you're too fast. Get out of here. I don't want to see you anymore. Hamling with a yellow for some reason. He's fine.
Hakuba.
But Hakuba, and finally maybe we get to watch a new fight for a change. Hakuba bearing down now on Steve Poe. Steve Poe also making a good recovery drives with incidents in turn 1, lap 1, the dreaded pile-up. He's worked his way back up into 9th place, but Hakuba, another fast driver, and he's looks like he wants to make something happen here. And getting a decent release through Puhan. He's got some space. He wants to go for the move, but he's too far back. Tyler Babin going into the pits. He's done with that fight. Max Stope is too much of a nuisance. He's going to try maybe for an undercut, see what he can do. Hakuba desperately trying to get past Poe, but Poe keeping the car exactly where he needs to. The Aston pretty fast in a straight line, but the Audi can be deadly in a straight line here. So we'll see if Hakuba is able to keep enough pace to keep this Audi behind. Also, as mentioned, the Audi not great on the brakes. It can do it if it needs to, but I don't think it wants to. So we'll see if he's able to close up. And it looks like Poe getting a little defensive, being a bit conservative on the brakes, and it works for him, keeping Hakuba behind for another lap. Although we do have again Hakuba trying desperately to get around. Maybe he's going to go for a switchback, trying for the outside, and neither driver giving an inch.
Oh, he got it.
Hey, whoa. Steve going for a very late move to the inside. This is
yellow flag.
This is scary, and we've got Jason Fauchard. And I would love to jump over, but this is a battle that we're seeing. I don't want to say dirty, because nobody here is trying to drive dirty, but we're going to say some passionate defense from Steve Poe. Very quickly to the inside, and he's... No. Oh no! Ooh. This is scary. Poe with a little bit of passionate defense, and Hakuba is saying, okay, well then maybe I'll have some fun on offense. That move does put Hakuba a bit farther back, not so close to the back of Poe anymore. And Brenham, yes, as you mentioned, Brenham finally going into the pits. We've got our front runner going into the pits, basically spot on halfway through the race.
Oh no,
Tyler Babin, no, Tyler, and it's...
God damn it.
It's... they're just trying to troll us here. It's despicable from Assetto Corsa.
We have some battles. You have Paul Crosby, we have Pashov.
Fights, we've got fights all along. Well, you said Pasha. Oh no, we've got Kenji.
Yeah.
The dreaded. I'm just gonna ignore the yellow flags. Everyone, you can die. I'm not gonna put the camera on you. It's fine.
Stope on the pit. Maybe he can.
Stope going into the pits.
What do you think he's gonna get early, ahead, or behind, Tyler?
That is a great question. Let's see where Tyler Babin is right now. If he's got clean air, it could be a chance for him, and it does look like he's got some clean air right now. This could be very interesting. What is the gap right now? It's about 40 seconds. It's about 45 seconds.
Yes, more or less.
And this is very interesting. Steve Poe going into the pits now after a big fight. Where is Stope? Is Stope still... Stope is coming out. Stope is going onto his box. There's an even larger gap than I said. I was getting two drivers mixed up. Tyler Babin currently bearing down onto the back straight. Max Stope has started his pit stop. He is currently stationary. Oysten Brenham in 5th place. He's just finished his outlap. Tyler Babin,
after the pits, he's P5 right now.
P5, and it looks like Marcus Murray is the only driver who's been in the pits. Obviously, it is not him. Don't worry, Brenham is fine. The game is just being mean to us. Stope has... Oh, he's just lifted up. And Tyler Babin is... Tyler is going into La Source. I think it's going to be close. I think Stope might have actually... Oh, it's going to be so close between Max Stope and Tyler Babin. Tyler working his way
he's not gonna
down.
Maybe when they came straight.
What happens here is Max Stope is out. Let's go to the helicam. Let's see. There's Tyler Babin. It is going to be down to the wire. Is Stope going to be able to get up to speed? Tyler is on the outside, and he does make it work. The undercut for Tyler Babin. Superb driving for him. And that is a position for Tyler Babin. Wonderful strategy we're seeing play out in real time here. That was very fun to watch. Tyler Babin up to 7th place with drivers left to pit up front. Haukeba, the main one that he should be able to get in front of. Beautiful, beautiful strategy for him. Dan Schneider coming out of the pits. Murray going into the pits. He's very familiar with that pit lane after spending so much time at the start of the race there. Currently in 3rd place. Well, we get to have fun. We're not driving, so we get to make fun of people. Schneider, it looks like, has gone a little slow. Steve Poe, are you coming out of the pits? Of course you are. Schneider going a bit slow and losing his position to Eli Poe. Eli up to 11th place. Kenji currently in 10th. Now, I believe he was a little bit higher up, but Stope and Babin both passed. It very well could have been a pit stop thing, as Kenji is finished his stop, 36.6 seconds stationary, fixed a little bit of damage. And he is currently in 10th place. Very good for him. Haukeba in the pits now, as you mentioned. Drivers are starting to get their pit stops sorted out. Hard to say where the farts are right now. Net positions, tough to figure out. What are we expecting here? Are our predictions telling us anything important?
Brennan's gonna be P1 because Nordell have to pit.
Nordell still has to pit. Current best lap of a 2:19.835. Current best for Brenham, and we can bring up the comparison here. Current best for Brenham is a 2:18.45. One thing to note, Hamling has done a 2:18.2. Now, I believe our software is not giving me the full story, because Brenham did do, before his pit stop, a 2:18.15.
Yes.
So we're being lied to left and right. But still, very fast for both Hamling and Brenham. Nordell, unfortunately, a little bit back, but again, he's had a quiet race. He's been safe, and that's what's been able to keep him in this race. As Murray comes out of the pits, again, do not worry. Yellow flag is not true. He's now in 7th, although he does have, I believe that is a driver, Fauchard, on a previous lap. Right behind him. Fauchard, a very fast driver, but again, we've seen Murray just flying.
I think this Murray, maybe he can fight for P5.
There is, and the one thing we are noting here is Tyler Babin, currently 24.7 seconds back from 4th place, David Sparks. Sparks, another driver putting up 2:19.1s, so close to the 2:18s. A fast driver, and Tyler may have the pace, and Murray certainly has the pace, but getting past Max Stope and Tyler Babin, it will take a little bit of time until he gets a good run down Kemmel Straight, if he's able to. And then to make up that 24-second gap, I mean, he's a fast driver, but is he fast enough to make up 24 seconds, plus get past 2 other drivers and make up another 3 seconds? It's a tough ask. It's a tough ask, and it's something that if it does happen, we'll be talking about it for a while. But if it doesn't happen, I think it's a realistic issue. We've got...
I think it's easier to Murray overtake Tyler, to Tyler overtake Sparkles or Nordell.
It's certainly the Honda, again, has the benefit of a fast top speed. We see Jeremy Goringer in 9th place, has not pit, hence why he let Kenji Tan past. Again, not wanting to get in the way, knows it's a position he's not fighting for. No booze necessary. Not going to encourage you for this one, as much as I want to. We haven't looked at the back of the grid too much. Ben Fiore, our AM leader or winner of Laguna Seca, down in 21st place. We have dropped a couple drivers, 24 of 26 still competing right now. Ben Fiore, again, the back of the grid, it's tough to really say what's been happening back here just because the incident on lap 1 took out so many drivers that it's hard to say how much damage every driver had. It looks like Ben Fiore had 74 seconds stationary, so that's a lot of damage to fix. Paul Krobs had 100.5 seconds stationary. That is a ridiculous amount of time to be spending sitting in the pits watching drivers get past you after being in an incident. Again, we don't know, or maybe Victor may know after looking at the replay, who caused that incident. But regardless, it's not something we would want to see for any driver.
Which one?
Well,
we have 3 accidents on lap 1.
I think it's important. After the race, we will go back and we will show you all of the juicy, horrendous lap 1 incidents that are so horrifying. Even I, as a bloodthirsty commentator, will not be happy to see them. There is a limit to my bloodthirst.
Look at Esteban.
Who are we looking at? Who is that?
Jorge Esteban. 18.
Where is he? Thank you. That is Jorge Esteban in 18th place. What are we looking at here?
Closer. Getting closer. I mean, he's the closest battle we have right now.
Jorge currently not even showing a difference. That is Prevot in front, so both drivers. They says this is a real fight for position on track. You are correct. We're not getting the delta for some reason. Something is maybe unfortunately gone wrong there.
0.4 right now.
0.4. Okay, so 0.4. And I mean, as we do all have eyes, we can see a very small difference here.
So a little curiosity. Nordell have lap P until P10. Only P1 to until P9 on the same lap of the leader. That's insane.
Wow.
And Murray just have the fastest
scary.
lap of the track.
And Marcus with a 218 flat, very quickly making his way up to Max Stope, whose last lap was a 220.115. We can go over here. Give yourselves a nice comparison here. 220.115 for Max Stope and a 218.08 for Marcus Murray. Again, Marcus not even having his fastest Sector 1 when he puts that time down. We can take a look at what his fastest time was. His current best Sector 1, a 40.84, and his Sector 1 there, a 40.96. So still a tenth to gain if he puts it all together. We have
no
Paul Krobs.
What the hell?
There was a little bit of a
Yellow flag.
like there. Oh, and we've got Eli Poe into the pits. This is his first pit stop, so nothing too crazy to see there. Again, we've got some fights happening. Jorge now finally showing a delta, only 0.3 back from Prevot. Prevot was a AM driver last year. I believe he is an AM driver this year. Let's see if I can take a look. Prevot, yes, an AM, and as mentioned, Esteban, a silver driver. So it's a fight where, and we talked about this at Laguna, it's a fight where Prevot doesn't necessarily need to defend incredibly hard to preserve his overall or his AM point standings, but at the end of the day, nobody ever wants to move out of the way unless you have to. And Prevot, a pretty clean driver, and it looks like he is going to be trying his best to keep this position, hopefully safely, as we see Esteban try to outbrake him around the outside. This is...
he got it.
Oh no, but we do see... Esteban taps the curb, which pushes him wide into Prevot. Little bit of bumping. We'll say Rubbings racing there. Not sure if that move would have worked had he not bumped Prevot off, but you know what? It's fun racing.
Better for Esteban to give the position back.
I'm guessing he will not, because it's so hard to tell whether that was correct or not. And of course, the class difference.
Yeah, I
Prevot.
have these two.
Although Prevot is
Oh.
making a run here, giving Esteban a run for his money. Now the McLaren, it's not the slowest car, but it's not as fast as a Ferrari. Doesn't have great brakes, although he's trying. Ooh, and scary stuff. But we do have Prevot staying behind. Esteban able to keep that position. Prevot not hitting anyone, which is always important. Here,
The fastest lap of the race.
Brenham taking it back. Well, let's see what that was. That was a 217.9. What a lap for Oystein Brenham, bearing down on Carl Nordell, trying to get himself into the lead. We've got a very good fight here as well. Dan Schneider and Jason Fauchard, they have been fighting basically all race. Earlier in the race, we had Tyler Babin, Fauchard, and Schneider all fighting. Babin able to get out front and to take advantage of some open air and his amazing pace. But we do have
Man, look at that
three
difference
very
of
fast
the
drivers.
speed.
And it's even Pashov, Roman Pashov, a very fast driver who I believe is not on the lead lap. He's in 22nd place, a very fast driver who has decided not to cause any trouble with this fight. Unfortunate for Pashov, again, very fast driver, but must have had some bad luck here. Not getting in the way of Jason Fauchard, who's still right on the back of Dan Schneider, even after pit stops. This is a fight that I'm sure both drivers are sweating over, as Schneider has been able to get the best for a very long time. We have Carl Nordell stationary right now. Brenham up into first place. That is the move. Brenham, with plenty of time to spare, has been able to get into first. Hamling, he's made his way up. Nordell still stationary. Sparks getting past. Is Tyler going to get past? This may be close.
I think Tyler have it.
We'll have to see. Nordell
No,
is now
Tyler
moving.
doesn't have it. No.
This might be another close fight. We saw how close it was between Stope and Babin when Babin was just able to get past Stope coming out of the pits. Nordell still has the limiter on, just got moving. Tyler Babin bearing down. It may not be as close as the original fight. I think you are correct that Nordell is able to come out in front. Let's see what the gap is, as Tyler Babin
It's huge.
is going to be gaining space. Looks like currently about 4
Nordell,
seconds.
I think Tyler have more pace to overtake Nordell.
We'll have to see. Nordell, again, sticking into those 220s, those high 219s. Tyler with a bit more pace, but it is about a 5-second gap with 20 minutes left to go. So we'll have to see if it works. A couple fights going on in the back of grid as well. Ben Fiore, 0.2 seconds behind McAvey in 21st. We've got Haukeba watching, who we're on with now, fighting with Joe Hansen for, that is 11th place. And we've got Prevot fighting still tooth and nail with Jorge Esteban for 15th place. Haukeba getting beside, going into Eau Rouge. Is either driver going to back down? It does not look like it, but Haukeba taking the shallower line, and Johansson able to take the wider line, carry more speed. Very nice driving from Johansson, recognizing that Haukeba was not going to have the pace when he took that shallow line. They're side by side. We'll see if space is given. Space is given, and both drivers clean, clear, and a very nice driving for both. But Johansson comes out on top of this battle, so fantastic to see there. Finally, as well, we did not get to catch it, but Jason Fauchard getting past Dan Schneider after countless attempts, countless laps. Very good stuff for Jason Fauchard, up into 9th place. He's going to be happy with how this race is going. We've also got a 3-way battle here, and things seem to have gone wrong. Let's go back for a quick replay just to see what's happened, because we've got a 3-way battle, as mentioned, between Poe, Prevot, and I believe that is Goringer, and just somebody missing their braking point. Prevot missing his braking point, and that pushes him down the order. Poe and Esteban still fighting, but Prevot into 17th place, and it looks like he has moved out of the way for Tyler Babin, so no harm, no foul there. Yellow flag not meaning anything for us. Haukeba continues to be on the back of Vigard Johansson. Very good fight we're seeing here. And Poe, and to jump back, we've got Poe making a run on Esteban. Oh, they're coming together a little bit. And it does look like Poe gets the better of Esteban. Again, neither driver wanted to give any space, but they decided, you know what? No need to kill each other here. Let's get through this turn together. And Eli Poe making the move stick up to 15th place. So movement all along the grid. We've got another three-way battle here between Johansson, Haukeba, and Dan Schneider. If we look at a comparison here, both drivers, I'm imagining with that fighting, putting down some slow lap times, but Haukeba getting a run possibly on Dan Schneider, and we can take a comparison here. So Schneider, after losing position to Fauchard, has also is under fire as we see Pashov spin off on Eau Rouge. Very unfortunate for him. A bad race getting even worse. Haukeba getting the move done potentially. It looks like he has made it work. So that's Schneider losing 2 spots in very quick succession. Haukeba into the overall points. 10th place for him. Very nice driving, and Schneider is not done yet as we can jump back, throw up the comparison. We've got Johansson trying to fight, and that is Pashov, who, as we saw, went off track and had a bit of a tumble through Eau Rouge and Radeon. Unfortunate for him, and it's a race to forget. We also have Goringer going off, and we can jump over. Not sure what happened to him, but where is Murray? What? Oh my goodness. Marcus Murray, only 0.8 seconds back from Stope. When did that happen? We've got Johansson making the move on Dan Schneider, too. We're actually just going to quickly cut back. We don't have much time before Murray is right on the back of Stope, but we can see Johansson going down the inside of that turn. Very nice move for him to get past Schneider, and Schneider not going to be too happy with those 3 positions lost in only a lap. Jumping over to Marcus Murray, who, as you mentioned, has made that gap disappear like a magician. Coming up with a very good release onto the Kemmel Straight. He's fighting against a Porsche. Is it even really a fight? The answer is no. Although the Porsche outbraking, the Porsche has the ability. They come close. Ooh, and a bit of a squeeze by Stope, but both drivers safe. Both drivers alive. Very nice defense from Max Stope there. We're going to jump over and show you exactly what is going on here. This is what's happening in Max Stope's rear view mirror. Right on the back of him. Marcus Murray, he's, as we've said time and time again, fantastically speedy driver. And while the Porsche is fast in the turns, the Honda is no slouch in the turns either. So obviously we can see a much better run through Puhan for Stope, but Murray has the top speed on the back straight. He will be making that time back. This is a fight we're going to want to be keeping an eye on, and we'll see how long that fight lasts for. As we already saw Stope with some very nice defense after the Kemmel Straight into Lake Holmes to hold him back for 1 lap, but can he do it for the next 15 minutes? That is the big question.
Murray is 6 km/h faster than the Porsche. That's a lot.
That is a lot, as you mentioned. A lot of extra kilometers per hour.
Closer.
He's bearing
Looks
down.
like
That's
a
0.4, 0.3. This is scary to watch, folks. Close your eyes. Oh God, it's a massacre out here. But the Porsche should be able to hold off just by virtue of having the brakes. We've got Runo, and unfortunately, yes, scary view for Paul Runo. Not sure what happened to him. We're back to a nice, safe heli cam after some intense driving from Marcus Murray and Max Stope, which we'll have to wait until they get back to the Kemmel Straight to see if Marcus is able to make another move.
I can't race anymore, Christian. I'm too old.
Victor, I mean, as if I'm feeling old at 25, Victor, how old are you? You're in your 30s
27.
now? 27. You're 27. Oh, well, I understand. The bones are rattling. Once again, we have Jorge Esteban going off. We keep watching fights.
I think it's yellow flag. And Murray make a stick.
and Jorge, he's hit the wall on Eau Rouge again.
I think he's already done on the Rouge. I don't know.
What the heck happened? Well, anyways, Jorge, regardless of how it happened, it happened. So poor stuff for him. One thing I've noticed, this is possibly the third time we have been watching a fight, and in the background, a car has died on Eau Rouge. So it almost seems better if we've got the camera on you, you'll be okay. But if the camera's not directed on you and you're taking Eau Rouge in the background, then watch out. You may just find yourself in the wall. Murray up to 6th place, Tyler Babin up to 5th place. These drivers, ridiculously fast guys, making their way after either qualifying at the back, starting in the pits. We've got drivers like Poe, who was again part of the incident with the pace, but they just haven't been able to put it all together. It's a lot of adversity to overcome, and you need things to go right for you. Babin's made it go right for him. Murray's made it go right for him. Very nice recovery drives for them. We've brought up Kenji a couple times. Big gaps between him in 8th place and Jason Fauchard in 9th place. With 13 minutes left, Kenji has put up a very nice drive, kept it clean, kept it safe, and he's going to be hopefully rewarded with a points finish here. Jade Princess, that is a great question.
I have no idea, Jade.
Well,
I have no idea at all.
I know we've got drivers. I mean, myself, like mentioned, I'm 25. We've got Steven, my co-commentator. I believe he is 26. He's a year older than me, I believe. So we've got plenty of guys in their 20s. We've got younger guys too. At the same time, we've got drivers like Paul Krobs and Jeremy Guringer in their late 40s. We've got Kenji, I believe, in his 40s. So we've got drivers in their 20s, 30s, 40s, maybe 50s. It really runs the gamut. Lots of drivers, and it's one of the fun parts about sim racing is that it really is something just for everyone. Leo is 18, the baby of the grid, possibly. And just again having such
yellow flag, Esteban.
we've got Esteban 2 laps in a row. Okay, well, you crash once and we won't show it, but you crash twice in 2 laps, and we do have to share your misery just a little bit as we see Jorge Esteban make his way up Eau Rouge, and we've seen so many Ferraris dying on this one section of the track, and once again we see Jorge Esteban and catches a little bit of a bump, and there he goes.
They can't just lose it.
It is quite strange. Again, not a terrible incident, not something that hurt him too badly, but it did hurt his ego as we did manage to catch it on camera. So
it's possible that all the Ferraris drive the same setup. I think it's a hard setup, or hard dampers and hard suspension.
It very well could be. Maybe not the best choice. I know drivers were expecting there to be a potential for rain, so whether it was a rain setup that just isn't working out, who knows? All we know is that the Ferraris are having a bad time.
P2 and P3?
P2 and P3. That is a 2.3 second gap. Sparks. I don't think we have had Sparks on camera once today.
Look at the last lap of Sparks.
But Sparks with a 2:17.9. That is a second faster than Hamling. My friends on stream, our wonderful viewers, and anyone watching the VOD afterwards, this is something that wasn't even on our radar until just now, but we could have a very exciting fight for P2 if Sparks is able to keep this pace up. This is something we'll have to keep an eye on. Very potentially exciting stuff. Always fun to watch fights at the end of the race for top positions. For now, we're going to jump back to Helkebo, who's trying to make a run on Fauchard. He's on the spot on the track to do it. He's coming onto the back straight, a couple turns, and then onto the front straight. So if this Audi is going to make a move, this is the part of the track to do it. We'll have to see. Gets into bus stop and on the brakes about as late as he can, neat and tidy through the 2 turns of the bus stop. Makes up a couple tenths on a Porsche. Making up tenths on a Porsche in the turns, never easy to do. We'll see what happens as they come into La Source. Late on the brakes again. Magnus looking quite confident, coming out onto Kemmel Straight. And again, if there's ever a place to pass a Porsche, it is right here, folks. We will see if Haukeba is able to take advantage of this top speed. He's able to get a good run, and that looks... He caught a little bit of curbing. Maybe not the best run, but much better than Fauchard. He's already gained 4/10 through there, and let's see if he's able to make this work. He is very close, and that is, as you mentioned, Esteban with a yellow flag, but it's not showing right now.
Oh, man, the Aston is only 3 kilometers faster than the Porsche. It's not that much faster.
That's the Audi?
No, the Aston.
Yes,
the
only
Porsche.
3.
Only 3 kilometers
Interesting.
per hour. Haukeba is reaching 264 and Fauchard 261 kilometers per hour.
261. So for a Porsche, I mean, it could be that he's running a low wing setup. Porsche, very difficult to get into the 260s unless you're able to make some sacrifices on the setup. One thing as well, we are going to jump over to David Sparks. This fight is really starting to heat up. 1.5 seconds. Again, let's do a comparison of their last 2 laps. And that is another 3/10 that David Sparks has been able to make up on Guillaume Hamelin. 3/10, when you've got a gap of only 1.5 seconds, so he does go a bit wide there. We will ignore that. It makes all the difference. Murray with a 217.8. We can jump over. He is trying to bear down on Tyler. Tyler's last lap a 218.9, so definitely a gap that you can potentially overcome. There is only 7 minutes left in this race. That's about 4 laps, maybe 5 laps. That's going to require a pretty. It's a tall ask from Marcus Murray to make his way up into 5th place. Tyler, after having a very eventful start to the race, he's sort of settled in as he goes wide through No Name. Again, we're going to ignore that. No harm, no foul. If Tyler is able to keep it on track, it's going to be tough for Murray to make that space up. So 5th place is potentially, and I hesitate to say locked in, as Victor, you know as well as I do how difficult it is to keep it on track here. But Tyler is certainly in a good position right now.
I mean, it's 5.6 seconds with 2-3 laps. I say it's impossible to. No, I'm not gonna jinx.
Oh, why would you ever say that?
No, I'm not finished.
Tyler Babin, the sentiment was there, and we see David Sparks. What happened to him? Absolutely nothing. May have had a little bit of a tap with Hamling, not sure, but he is fine. It looks like maybe he's lost a little bit of time. Always unfortunate, because we do want to see a fight there at the end of this race. 2.3 seconds currently between Sparks and 3rd. They had a little bit of contact, hopefully nothing major, and we'll see how Hamling responds. And don't even worry about it. We've got Haukeba on screen. We're showing you all the action we can find. Haukeba going wide through Blanchemont. That is not Blanchemont. Where the heck are we? I don't even know anymore. We're definitely at Spa. That was...
that's cool.
That was Piff Paff. There we go.
Yes.
So now we're into Stavelot.
Oh, who overtakes Esteban?
Good run. Oh my goodness. Poe overtaking Esteban. And maybe we'll try to catch a quick replay of this, as we do see Eli Poe just behind. And wow, that was a confident move by Eli Poe to just basically force Esteban's hand and say, the inside, that is my line, my friend. Very nice move for him. Certainly a bit, it requires a lot of trust in the car in front, but it was trust that Esteban decided to respect. Looks like Sparks in 3rd place still. He's lost a little bit of time. It's certainly it's a bit unfortunate. Hopefully we do see Sparks maybe make up that gap, but it's going to be tough to do. The longer this race goes without him making ground, the harder it's going to be to make up 2.5 seconds in only what's going to be maybe 2 laps, maybe 3 laps. We do have Haukeba, getting a little squirrely there, but
little jiggle.
oof. He's alive. He's alive and well. And bearing down, we'll go back to this cockpit view to see if
McAvey
maybe he's able to
too.
make the move. But he's not able to. And you can see he's trying everything, but I guess the Audi is not set up.
He not have some advantage on the top speed, so how he can overtake? That's a problem.
Well, the Porsche is just so good in the corners that if you don't have a speed advantage, what the heck are you supposed to do? You wait for a mistake, or you accept your lot. We've got McAvey trying to make a move on Prevot, but Prevot saying, "No way! I am going to outbrake you. You do not get this spot easily." Defending incredibly well, keeping to that inside. This is a fantastic fight as they're still side by side, though the move is maybe off there, but. But McAvey with the speed out of Stavelot and down the back straight, the Ferrari showing where it shines, which is on a straight line, and that is 15th position for Razvan McAvey. Very nice battle between these two drivers, and a very nice overtake from McAvey at the end as he hits the bus stop chicane and makes his way to the line. Fights, again, cars are spreading out throughout the grid. We're not seeing a ton of fights. Sparks is slowly but surely making his way.
He's not gonna overtake.
He's
I
not.
dare him. I double dare him to overtake Pete Hamlin. There we go. I say it.
I would love for it to happen. I would love for it to happen. Hamlin is a fantastic driver. Sorry, Hamlin, but we want fights. We want blood, and
Hello,
unfortunately, we may not be
FBI.
getting
I
it.
said nothing. That's our reason. I don't want to blood. No.
I'm sorry, Hamlin, but I want blood. Maybe not crashes, but I do want overtakes. We all want overtakes. That's why we watch these races. If we were watching
maybe
a
he held
Snowfest, I mean, again, we keep jumping over. We keep expecting big things, but Haukeba is giving us small pace. He's maybe closing down a little bit. I mean, he might try something stupid here, but he decides against it, and that is the smart move. As Oysten Brenham, still in first place, very quiet. Oh no, Tyler! What happened to you?
No!
Let's go take a look at what happens to him. He is going through, I believe that is Piff, and goes a little wide. That is not Piff. That was Stavelot. Goes wide on Stavelot, catches the gravel, and I'm sure that was a bit of a tap, which means, and in fact, actually, Victor, why don't you tell me what was your exact wording about Babin's chances of losing?
Tyler overtake Nordo.
Those were not your words. Your words were, it's basically impossible for Murray to get 5th place in this race.
Shut up about that. Shut up.
It's on stream. We're saving the VOD. There is nowhere for you to hide, Victor.
No, that's fake news. That's fake news.
And it's very important for Tyler to know this. Tyler, if you watch this VOD, I said nothing. I had nothing to do with it. This was all
fake news,
on
Tyler.
Victor.
It's fake news. It's all fake news.
We see Fauchard going wide onto the back straight, but it doesn't seem to be making much of a difference. Again, we've seen time and time again. The Audi of Haukeba just doesn't have the top speed to make a move stick. We've got Sparks. He's close. He's closing in. It's just a little too late.
That's true, Bishop. That's true.
And that is very true. Going from starting at the back to 6th
yellow
place.
Flag, Fiore. Go to Brenham. He's gonna finish in a race.
Brenham. Yes, I mean, it's hard to even... again, this is just sort of a dominant victory for Brenham. Keeps it clean at the start. He's got a 12-second gap to 2nd place. He's just been slightly faster than Hamlin the entire race. And here he goes through bus stop chicane. It's going to be hard for him to lose 12 seconds here. This is the 2nd victory for Oysten Brenham. Congratulations, Oysten.
Nice one, Brenham.
What a beautiful drive for him. So quiet, so superb. Doesn't put a foot wrong. He is now 50 points of 50. What a dominant start of the season for him. We've got
Hamlin P2,
Hamlin
Sparks
P2, and Sparks P3. Again, Sparks not able to close up that gap. I don't think he's going to be too mad. And we do have, as you mentioned, Haukeba right on the back. This is, I mean, it's the last lap. They know this is the last lap. Haukeba is going to be throwing everything he can at Fauchard. Fauchard knows this. And we do have Eli Poe and Prevot. Eli Poe and Prevot were in a fight, and it looks like maybe the fight has ended in disaster. As Prevot, yellow flag, he loses 3 spots now. Very, very unfortunate for them. But of course, Poe, Peters certainly, and Goringer not going to mind getting a free spot. Haukeba dropping back in sector.
So much time on sector 2.
And that really is the benefit of the Porsche. It's going to be difficult for Haukeba to make anything work. We do have Nordell confirmed finishing in 4th place. Quiet, solid race for him. Murray, as we've talked about, fantastic recovery drive after forgetting to click a button in a 30-second window. It's these things happen. It's really, at the end of the day, Murray can only blame himself for not clicking that button. It's you'd think it would be hard to do, but it happens so often. Tyler Babin, as well, starting from the back, up into 6th place, had a fantastic fight with Max Stope and eventually got the better of him with the undercut. Stope in 7th place. Kenji Tan, we've talked about him a couple times today. Beautiful drive for him, quiet, consistent. 8th place for him. Jason Fauchard in 9th, and Magnus in 10th place, battling for the entire back half of the race. Fantastic driving between Fauchard and Haukeba. And that rounds off our top 10. Of course, we've got Johansson in 11th, Dan Schneider, very good race for him in 12th place. We've got Steve Poe in 13th, Paul Renault 14th, McAvey 15th, Eli Poe 16th. We've got Peters, a rookie in the league, in 17th, Jeremy Goringer, his first race with us, 18th, Prevot 19th, Jorge Esteban 20th, Ben Fiore in 21st, Rosen Pashov, unfortunate race for him, he's in 22nd, Paul Krobs as well, another driver who's got some pace, but he's just had bad, some unfortunate racing events this year, both at Laguna and Spa. He's in 23rd. Finally, Gary Bosman in 24th place of 24 of the drivers who finished. Also an unfortunate race for him. But fantastic driving for us. We got to watch some great racing. Victor, really appreciate you coming on with us to help our audience have a good time, to help our viewers have enjoy some high level, high professional commentating from the two of us. Now that we've got the race done,
but I love it to be here.
Well, we love having you here, and I'm sure Steven appreciates you taking his spot. While we're here, why don't we make sure to save the replay, and let's keep an eye on the start of the race. Now, Victor, who should we be keeping an eye on at the start of this race? Which driver should we be?
Go to car number 4. Number 4.
Car number 4.
The first incident.
Car number 4. Let's go find car number 4. Where's car number 4? Come on. Here he is. Still in lap 1. We're going to find the right camera to show exactly what happened. This is the car of number 4 is Rosen Pashov. You're not able to see. Let's see if Twitch Studio, please say that you're working. Yes, you are.
No,
unfortunately,
okay.
choppier than I'd
It's
like.
a replay.
Unfortunately, we're having some
10-10.
10-10. Move to 10:02. Here we're gonna have the start of the race. Oh, whoa! What the heck?
Yep.
This isn't. The race hasn't even started yet. Oh, so it looks like Pashov just gets a great run, and I think that is.
No, I think the McLaren didn't start
The
because
McLaren didn't start.
Faster.
That is so unfortunate.
Yes.
Interesting to see that we have Haukeba down here at the start, who was able to make the recovery, but Pashov not. Prevost. That is the McLaren of Prevost who had the issue there. So really unfortunate for him. We've got the race has finished, or the server is finished, but you know what? Just for you viewers, we're going to go. We've saved the replay. Let's go take a look at the other major incidents from lap 1. You get to see total viewer professionalism in all its glory as we jump our way over to the automatically saved races. Why am I doing automatically saved? We've got replays right here. And Victor, would you be able to help me out and let me
The
know
first one,
the
the
second
second
incident?
one is car number 50 and 32.
50 and 32. Let's jump. Oh, 50. Of course, you know my eyes in my old age, they don't work the way they should. I sometimes have a hard time finding the numbers. And could you please give
The
me a replay time?
Oh, it's 10. Oh, I don't have the time anymore.
Oh my goodness.
Because
Well,
the
you know what?
sessions-
We're
there
too
you
far.
go.
Yeah, no, it's not gonna be hard. We've got here. Let's see if we can get a good view. Maybe this will do it justice. Drivers making their way up Eau Rouge. Looks neat and tidy for now. And oh, Fauchard. It looks like he maybe turns in a little bit. And oh, good lord. This is just car after car.
Yes.
Let's go back. Let's see if we can catch exactly what happens. If we go maybe to a couple back, let's slow things down. So we've got Fauchard who goes into the side of the Mercedes there, and both of them spin. Fauchard and the Mercedes are spinning out. We've got lots of drivers, we'll note, on the left side of the track saying, I'm not even going to try to stay within the lines. That's too much for me.
Wide Rouge. Oh my god.
Oh
Go
my
back
goodness.
a little bit.
Please, this is
4 wide.
This is 4 wide. Where is the 4 wide? Who's this? Holy crap! You're right. We've got the Porsches. You'll see in the bottom left corner of the screen. We've got. I know that is the Porsche of Paul Renault, but we've also got a McLaren and Aston Martin and another Aston Martin who decide. You know what? You know what's safer than 3 wide up Eau Rouge? 1, 2, 3, 4 wide. What are you doing? That's insane. Don't do that. This is what happens when people go 4 wide. As there's just a massacre. Everyone dying. So much death.
You're gonna die.
Oh,
You're gonna
more
die.
tabs. More
Everyone
tabs.
is gonna die.
That is horrifying. That is
But
absolutely
it's not over.
disgusting.
Go to car number 77.
Oh, I would love to go to car number 77.
Yes.
77. Are you sure it's not? 77.
Because another one dies later. Go on.
No. Okay, so we are on board right now. Car number 77. Fortunately, our stream seems to be having some issues.
Oh no.
Things are slowing down.
Yeah, the race control fools me. Go back. I'm pretty sure someone dies there.
I think you are correct.
On the kink.
I'm not sure what's causing these performance issues here. I do have to apologize again to our audience for
Professional
the
working, guys.
issues.
Professional work.
Who doesn't love to watch a stream at 20 frames per second? We've got 39, 40. There is, unfortunately, an internet issue we will hopefully get fixed as soon as Steven's back, because he has much better internet than I do, is the only thing we can really say to that. It looks like the replay isn't working great, but let's see if we can catch exactly what happens here. Maybe there's an incident later on.
No, I think you have one in the kink or the chemistry. Go back.
It's a kink of the
I don't
chemistry.
know. Yeah. I know someone dies there.
Someone dies here.
Go back. Go. Go the people back.
Let's go back. We'll check out maybe
Yes.
this car here. And oh Lord,
Yes.
what is happening there? We've got more death. I thought we were done with death,
No.
but you're right. We've got this Aston Martin here joining the track, and I'm not sure what exactly they were thinking. I'm not sure if maybe they had issues of oversteer. They couldn't get control of the car again, but banging into that Ferrari. That's Paul Krobs in the orange McLaren dying. We now know what happened to him. That really is unfortunate stuff. So lots of incidents at the start of the race.
If I'm right, the last one on lap 1 is car number 23. No, I think that's the incident.
Car number 23. This is the Aston Martin that decided.
Yeah, I think that's it. They won.
choose death.
And perfect. I mean, three incidents before the comes. That's amazing.
It really is. It's quite unfortunate that that our drivers out there had to endure so much slaughter. We'll say. Of course, all of our drivers intending on staying clean, staying safe, but Spa, Eau Rouge, and Radillon, a very, very difficult track and a very difficult turn or complex, we'll say, to keep it safe when you've got 30 other drivers all around you. And unfortunately, not everyone was able to today. But that shouldn't take away from the fantastic performances we have as we see
Yes.
our board.
Yes.
Drivers like Babin, Murray, who are able to keep themselves safe. Murray saying Kunos did him dirty. Yes, yes, Murray. And we are well aware of your pit lane start. It was we're not exactly sure what happened, but we're very sorry that it happened regardless.
Man, Murray,
You had the
for me,
car
you're the
started
driver
and
of the day.
everything. And Murray, I think we can agree to that. Murray with a beautiful, beautiful drive. Let's take a look and see if we've got. So unfortunately, our race leader not available for comment. So we will have to forego our winner interview today. It's seeming like again, Oyston Brenham just I don't want to say running away with the championship. It's two races in. This is a long season, but I mean two fantastic, quiet, solid drives for Oyston Brenham. Currently leading the overall standings. It's certainly something he can be proud of.
No, man, you know the last guy who have this? Charles Leclerc. So let's relax. I hate you, Ferrari. You make me suffer. And
Well,
this bombshell, I'm gonna say goodbye. It's been a pleasure pleasure to be here with you guys. Thank you for the invite, Vegan. And Murray, fantastic job today, man.
yes, fantastic, Murray. And you know, just before you go, I think it's funny to we mentioned the issues Ferrari's been having in the Formula One season. Seem to as we saw every Ferrari on the grid also having issues this race. The best or the fastest or the rather the best position or finishing position, 15th for McAvey after multiple incidents from him on Eau Rouge. I believe every Ferrari driver had at least two crashes this race. So clearly Ferrari in every category not having a great time.
Coincidence? I think not. It's not coincidence. Ferrari is shit, and I love Ferrari.
It's certainly not a car that likes the curbs, and this is a very curb heavy track. So Ferrari's maybe having a better showing next week, or 2 weeks from now, I should say. October 29th at Donington. Thank you everyone so much for watching, whether you're watching now, whether you're watching the VOD. Again, apologies for the technical difficulties, the stream quality. Unfortunately, we are a bit short-handed on the technical side today. So hopefully we'll get those all sorted out for next week. But also hopefully you had a bit of fun as I know I did. And Victor, it sounds like you did. Thank you again, Victor, for joining for this race. Really nice to have you on. Really fun to talk to you and. Everyone, we'll see you all in 2 weeks at Donington, potentially a wet race there. So very exciting stuff. Don't want to miss it. And thank you all for watching. Once again, I am Reagan Letkeman signing off for Bez Racing Team. And thank you for watching. Have a nice day.
Yeah, guys.